believe that person who was in the video is the suspect, or just someone who was there at the time when the murders happened?
Evidence is going to give us that information as we continue to dig, as we continue to gather as much as we can. Right now, we know that they were there. So right now, what we want is for people to give us more information so that we can then collect that evidence and make a determination on whether that's the case.
Now, there's a crime camera just across the street from the Tepes residence. Did that crime camera catch anything that's been useful to the department?
We're still reviewing a lot of video. We're still looking at a lot of evidence. Again, the information that we're releasing, we want to be as transparent as possible and release that. But there are some things we're just not going to be able to share at this time related to the investigation. But what I can tell you is that we are looking at so much video information and so much content that we're still combing through. So we don't have all the answers. And so our investigators are diligently working. They're still gathering information. And as soon as we're able to, we're going to provide another update.
Is there a threat to the community at this time, though? Community at large?
I'll add that any homicide investigation is a delicate balance between community safety and investigative integrity. When there's a community safety issue, that's information that we got to get out as soon as possible. You know, our homicide teams have been canvassing the area every single day since this tragedy occurred, and they're making a lot of relationships in the Wyland Park area. The community members have stepped up and they have provided a lot of information. For every second of video, that's every second of video that a detective has to watch. And so when we have tens of thousands of hours of video, detectives watch every bit of that. And that's obviously not an instantaneous lead. Additionally, the chief mentioned a number of tips that have come in since we released that video. And our detectives, we have a great triage system that the tips are sent to detectives. Detectives follow up on all of those tips. Some of them pan out to some additional information and follow up. Some of them are just not good tips, but we follow up on every one. Again, that speaks to the partnership with the community. That speaks to the work. So what I'm describing, the canvassing, the review of video, that happens on every single homicide that our detectives investigate. If there's anything good out of this, it's that people are paying attention to the professionalism of our detectives and the significant work that they do.
Do you know how many tips that you guys have gotten?
Several tips, a lot of tips, in a lot of different ways. So we've gotten them emailed, social media, telephone calls, texts, in person. We've gotten a lot of tips.
In regard to the protest tonight, how do you plan to handle that?
We're going to do it the same way that we handle every protest. We have our dialogue team that has been phenomenal in being able to facilitate and work with these groups. We want to make sure that people are able to protest in a peaceful manner and that their First Amendment rights are not violated. So we're going to continue to work in collaboration with them, continue to have that dialogue and make sure that we're there and available to make sure that everyone's safety is a priority.
Has everyone been cooperative aside from the neighbors in the Tepe investigation?
I have not heard of people being uncooperative. So when you say everyone, I mean, I think there's always a possibility someone's not.
Like relatives, people out of states, that kind of thing.
Our detectives have a great relationship with families.
Thank you.
We are following a murder mystery in Ohio.
Hello, chat. Hello. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you got up on the panel. Yeah. Appreciate it. So right. we was talking about this yesterday, and I was watching Joel with Survive the Survivors this morning. And let me tell you, me and you talked about this yesterday. Remember when we were talking about a murder-suicide? Yeah. And I said, I'm not going to rule that out. I said, you know, a lot of women, they won't unalive themselves in their head. They would do it in their chest. And a lot of that reason, in my eyes, is because even when women pass, we definitely care what we look like. And they don't, that's my opinion. They don't want to do it to their head. And that's not saying that's what happened here, but it is a possibility. But where's the weapon? There's been no weapon found. It's definitely going to be interesting. Hey, right. Black Opal, good to see you. Eagle Stars and Stripes. We're going to also have some updates on the Kansas moms We're going to go live at 3 or right after this one's done. There's been Tad Collins' attorney is trying to get his trial put off. We're going to go over that. Highway is going to be named after Jillian and Veronica. The GoFundMe raised enough money to do that. So within the next couple of months, there'll be some markers put on the highway. But we're going to talk about that after this. So have you got to see Survive the Survivors from last night? Surviving the Survivors?
No, I did not watch that.
Okay. So I'm not a big Jennifer Coffendogger fan, and she was on Court TV this morning, but I also saved that clip. But these guys that Joel gets on his channel, I really like them. And I like the way they think, and I like the way they talk. You got 2 homicide detectives, and you got a beat officer that we're going to see that Joel talks to. Now, the beat officer that he talks to actually was in the same police force as this police chief in Detroit, Michigan. So he knows her. I found that interesting, just because he knows a little bit about her. So before we watch this next clip, is there anything you want to say, Attorney?
Yeah, I was watching Ashley a little bit, and she made a few pointers, and one of them was about the house. You know, the guy said he looked through the window, broke in the window, and could see, but wasn't sure if he was inside the house, right? But when you look at the house, how did he get through the second floor window? I mean, a ladder? How did you get in? That's what I'm wondering.
Do we know? Do we know if which floor? I mean, they were obviously found in their room.
Second floor?
So yeah, how did he see them in the room? Did he get up on something? We don't know.
No, that's the point. They're saying, well, maybe he was in the neighbor's house. No, he wasn't in the neighbor's house looking through the window. He could hear the kids. Well, we could hear the kids. And from a distance, yes. But they said they were looking through the window or broke the window. I think he said he broke the window.
Oh, on the 911 call, he said, am I going to have to break a window? So we don't know if he broke one, but he did say it on the 911 call. Do I have to break in? Do I need to break a window?
Right, but he was looking through a window and you could hear the kids. So you had to be pretty close to hear them kids screaming through a window. Now,
well, they might have been screaming for a while. You know, it's unfortunate and mistakes happen. But the first welfare check, that officer went to the wrong house.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, if that officer would have went to the right house, he too probably would have heard them kids screaming.
Yes, because the baby was crying. And you know, sometimes you can't stop a baby crying.
No.
They cried for a long time.
But am I going to dog the police officer? I mean, they make mistakes. They do. They make mistakes. And they've come out. And again, I think they came out and said this mistake because people were asking for the body cam. They were doing FOIAs on it. They knew it was going to come out. So they went ahead and come out with it and said, listen, he made a mistake. He went to the wrong house. Did the dispatcher send him to the wrong house? You know, the CAD report shows the correct address, but did she over the line, you know, on the call, give him the wrong address? We don't know.
Well, if you get a hold of that part, not you, but when they do get a hold of that part, if they do, you will hear the operator give him the wrong address, or he just went to the wrong address because he heard it wrong.
Very possible. Very possible. As a matter of fact, I got that. Let me pull it up. I don't got it. Truth and Transparency got it.
Right.
So.
And you'll be able to, what is the actual address? Do you know the number of the house?
Yes, it was 1114 4th Street, I believe.
Yeah.
And he went to 1117, and I forgot the name of the street.
Right. It was just behind. It's the house behind, the block behind, in between.
Right. They have one-way streets, and on 4th Street it goes one way, and then the street behind it is going another way.
The other way, yeah. All these one-way streets got them confused.
Correct, correct.
But, you know, sometimes you should always double check on the number just in case somebody made a mistake. Say, what was that? What was the house number again? Just repeat it twice, you know, so you make sure.
Mm-hmm.
because people do misspeak. We all do, even
yeah,
operators.
And they make mistakes.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, so-
Let's play this body cam when you're done talking. We'll play this body cam that Lana got of the first responder, the first police officer going to the wrong address.
Okay.
But go ahead and say I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, it's just that my thoughts. That's my thoughts. Like, you should always double check on the number. Just repeat that, you know, and just to make sure that, I mean, this might be a lesson learned, because even though it was a welfare check and no urgency at that time, I mean, what if it was life or death at the time and they went to the wrong house? Seconds count, right? It's a big mistake, but a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to play this and then we'll discuss some more.
Okay.
Here we go.
My opinion, my request prompted that public statement. Here it is, the body worn camera of the officer responding on 12/30/2025.
He's whistling too. Again, this is Lana with Truth and Transparency. She did a FOIA to get the body cam. This is the first responder, Ellie, going to the house of the dentist, but he goes to the wrong house. Please go over and give Lana a like. This is her video.
Radio 31. This is 8A3752 North High, Winkle Green and Co. Truck with rear entry door front motion and rear motion detector.
No, 31. No,
9031.
send that to me, please.
31, I'll show you that.
31, copy that. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I was made for loving you, baby, loving me.
And he's going to give us some songs. Listen, he never thought that this body cam was going to get out to the public. You can guarantee it. He's putting his gloves on.
Y'all come on up here.
Fourteen 17.
Radio 43. 30A 980 King apartment.
Do you see a camera outside their house?
Not this particular one, but this is the wrong address that he went to.
Yeah.
But not only that, you know, and this has been talked about all over the internet, not one person said that he was a dentist. Okay. And that it was a dentist that hadn't showed up to work. They just said a coworker. The house, wait till you see the back of it. Listen, and maybe a dentist house would look like that. That'd be something that my house would look like, but probably not a dentist.
Yeah, because it's completely different color and everything, but they didn't know the color. I'm just saying what we know now, but.
Right. But, you know, usually in that line of work, you know, they're pretty clean. The house is looking pretty dirty, and wait till you see the backside.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 1417. Hey, Johnny, good to see you. This is the case out of Ohio. A dentist and his wife was unalive. 2 young children in the house and their dog.
Anybody home?
Usually they'll walk around the house, see if there's any signs of a break-in, broken windows, ajar doors.
Obviously, these people are probably at work, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, 9 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah.
9:17 to be exact, it says.
Anybody home?
I mean, the gate's locked. Oh, got it open.
It was jammed. Again, nobody said that this was a dentist that didn't show up to work.
Anybody home?
Hey, guys. Oh, hold on. It kicked it off. I don't know why, but we'll get it back on here.
Yeah.
It's snowing in Colorado.
It snowed in the Panhandle too, 5 to 6 inches.
Yeah.
It is a very sad one.
Mm.
Gave it the old college try there. Okay, so I got some more. We're going to do this one more time for you guys. Right here. Those of you guys that are just joining us, this is the body worn camera of the officer that was dispatched, okay, to do the wellness check, 913. Now,
But I wonder when the chief police realized that this officer went to the wrong address. When did they find out? When she asked for the police body cam?
I believe that that's what it was, because Lana says she got stuff back, and that she told them again, I want the body cam of the first responding officer. Well, when they looked at that first responding officer body cam, because obviously they block out stuff like they did here, they realized he went to the wrong address. So they had to say something before they let that body cam out.
All right.
And I believe she got this late yesterday or maybe even this morning. I don't think she said exactly. So I don't even think the police department realized they went to the wrong place until the FOIAs started coming out for the body cam. That's my-
Right. And that's when I think they realized that they made that short, very short press conference to the police only, or
that is strange too. She didn't hold a press conference. She just
no.
went to a local news reporter, just one, and let them
Oh.
do an interview. Why not do a full press conference?
Because they really was not going to. I
No.
think they had to because of this mistake.
Right, but they've been pressuring her to do a press conference. Listen, even if you don't release information, you still got to do a press conference. We ran into that
Yeah.
in Panhandle too. The
Yeah.
fact that they wasn't saying anything was a lot.
Because they found, two people deceased in a home, they should have let the public know. They should have just done that, at least right away. That same day, the afternoon.
I don't think they knew that they went to the wrong address.
No, I don't think they realized that until.
Well, why would you? He's just doing a welfare check. Nobody answers the door. That's what they do.
Yeah, but after that, they had several calls after that. I mean, they should have looked.
Well, still, was he another officer that went to the second one? We don't know. Because if he was the same officer that showed up at the second one, he could have been on a different call. With
Yeah.
welfare check, okay?
Yeah.
But if he's the one that went to the second one, he would have said, "Oh shit, I went to the wrong one earlier."
Yeah, but have we listened to the others? Have we seen the other body cams of the police yet?
No, she asked for him. She has not got him yet.
Oh, so we don't know if it was the same police officer or not yet at this time.
Right. Not that I've seen.
No.
Now, Lana did say, and I shared her link. She was going to the site right now and getting some more information. So she ended her live and decided that she was going to drive down there again. So.
Oh.
Okay, so let me take this. I had it muted just because we had seen it before already.
He's on Summit.
So Summit Street.
He's on Summit at 1417. How I found that out is because right over here to your left-hand side, that is the Huckleberry, one of their buildings right there that you're seeing with that white sign there. This is a Summit Street. He is 1417 Summit. What would have been an understanding is to go to possibly 1411 South 4th Street, but here, this is on Summit. I have no idea how Summit would possibly be registering now, but I do. Because when you run actually back the logs and you listen to the radio logs, what address does the dispatch give this officer to go to? Verbally, because the actual CAD notes say to go to 1411 4th Street. This is on Summit, and I have 14 right there, 17. 15.
So we just watched that. We know he went to the wrong place. This is where she tells us a little bit of where exactly the house is.
Closed out at 9:24 and 15 seconds. He cuts off his body worn camera and remains on property for way longer. If you can see here, it says the location is to go to 1411 North 4th Street. This is where I got this material. So like when people want to say, well, was he dispatched to the wrong place? Okay. I'm just showing you, this is what this is the actual material that you would need to here, 1411 North 4th Street, Columbus. And it's the X streets are met. That means it's in between, 8th Avenue and 9th Avenue. See where Summit is over here on the left-hand side? Okay, Summit's over here.
Oh, it looks like a couple streets away.
But he would be down a little bit further right. Where the
Not only was it
is
the house number wrong,
there.
the name of the street was wrong.
Yeah, and it looks like
People are saying, can you auto correct with
it's a couple streets back. How do you do that? I don't know.
if anybody wants
Supposed to go to 4th Street and ends up on Summit and the wrong address.
Not double checking and not double checking. Hey, this don't match up. Did he get the number of the house wrong or the number or the street?
He got
Name
both
wrong.
wrong. He got both wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, you got both wrong. You got the house number and the street wrong. But, they do make mistakes. I'm just saying, that was 45 minutes that them kids was still left in that house screaming by themselves if he'd have got to the right place. But did dispatch, maybe they put it in the CAD notes right, but maybe over the radio said it wrong. I was trying to listen. I couldn't hear it. But the actual dispatch call, did she say the wrong address? You brought something else up earlier too, and we're going to see it. But 11 days prior, a lady called 911 at 2:45 in the morning because somebody was banging on her door hard, and she was scared, but she didn't see who it was. And the dispatcher says, "Well, did you ask them what they wanted? If you're a single female and you're home alone, you're probably not going to say that to them." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and did the police respond to her?
Yes, I think it was 11 minutes later, but the guy or person, whoever was knocking, was gone.
Yeah.
I think it was 9 to 11 minutes.
And I wonder, did they ever I wonder if they are looking at cams to see, maybe it might have been the same guy.
Well, I guarantee you they've got so much video that they're going through, and they've got so much they're not releasing. And why would they release it? Why? Now, the guy that was walking down the street, there is many people. I'm one of them. I don't usually watch our local news. There's a lot of people that the news is so depressing, they don't watch it, okay? So to say that this guy is guilty, or woman, whoever that is walking, because they didn't come forward, they might not have seen this clip on the news. There's people that does not watch the news.
There is that.
So that don't mean he's guilty. That don't mean that person's guilty. They just don't know that they're on camera and that they need to, be saying something. Hell, they could have been walking home from a bar. We don't know. It's also really close to the university, a big university at that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if there is somebody knocking at your door 2 or 3 in the morning and these things are happening, the public should know to make sure, keep your doors locked and stay vigilant.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and it's good to know what's going on in your community.
Yeah, but I mean, I listen to the scanner every night, but if these two would not have got unalived, we wouldn't know that somebody was beating on the lady's door at 2:45 in the morning. That's not something that they just go on the news and say.
That's the problem.
Somebody could have been walking drunk down the street. Well, why? They don't got the time to put that on the news.
Yeah,
It
but
takes something.
this is how people get in your home and rob you.
Yeah,
Nobody's
but you know,
informed.
people got the wrong people knocking on their door at all hours of the night, all the time. They're not going to put all that on the news. That's crazy. It happens all the time.
Right.
Say you got a DoorDash driver out there looking for an address and they can't see somebody's numbers and they come up and knock on our door. I'm not going to
That's
call them.
happened. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
happened. People have gone to the wrong home and got themselves unalived, you know?
but there's no way to put that out to the public. Every call of somebody wrong knocking on the door, even at 2:45 in the morning, they just can't.
Well, anyway, this is just a reminder, everybody. You know, make sure that you've locked up your house and it's secure.
Yeah, Hawkeyes, Lavender. Listen, a lot of these people in these small towns, they don't lock their doors, and I was freaking out. Lock them doors. You
Mhm.
never know. Say somebody's coming down the highway, which is several miles away, and they want to get off that highway and go the back roads, and they're walking. They're going to end up at your doorstep. You never know who's going to come at your door. Period.
No, you never know. You never know. That because locking your door is the first it could give you minutes to save your life. I'm saying maybe find a gun or something like that. It can give you minutes or seconds you might need.
Right. Not only that, listen, in this day and age, if you don't have cameras, you're a fool. And I'll say it again. In this day and age, with everything that's going on, I don't care if you're out in the middle of the damn country.
Right.
If you have some type of cameras, because they've gotten cheap, you can get the light bulb cameras even.
Oh yeah.
Some kind of camera system, because you just never know. Video don't lie.
But
Video.
they are good, but depending where you live, the temperatures, they say some of these don't work because they get too cold. So you really have to keep an eye on them, make sure
Well,
they're
they look-
working, change the
Right, well-
batteries.
The batteries, like I have the Ring cameras. I didn't have a doorbell on my house, so you know mine is batteries. And sometimes the cold makes the batteries go dead quicker.
Yep.
And very possible. I mean, I've got 8 cameras out here, and I think one's only got a battery in it. I was just telling Rick last night, you need to go out and replace all them damn batteries. Why do we got all these cameras and all the
Yep.
batteries are dead?
Keep
Go out
an
and
eye
replace
on your batteries, make sure they're working, check them often because of the temperatures. It might be from the heat, it might be from extreme cold, but please check them. If you've got
Right.
cameras, check them.
I want to address Black Opal. I agree. I can't tell if the person walking down the street is a man or a woman. I cannot tell. So, you know, and it was 21 degrees, 9 degrees with the wind chill factor. I would have my head in my coat too walking, honestly, because I'm a wimp. I get cold. So I'd have my head down. That's what Hawkeyes is saying too. That cold and snow and ice, I'd have my head down too to stop cold
Yeah.
hitting in the face. Or don't want
Because
to slip.
it's a cold state. It's a cold state. It's winter.
Yes. Hey, Bri Guy, good to see you. Brian Rambles is in the house.
Hey, Brian, welcome.
I believe Brian is talking about the Idaho 4, all them lawsuits breaking. Again, I haven't been following the Idaho 4, so yeah. Oh my God, absolutely. Lock your freaking doors. I agree. Might explain his commute. Listen, it's right there by a college. It's also, they got bars in the area. I mean, it's not against the law to walk down the street at any time. So whether it be 4, 2:45 in the morning, 3, it don't matter. It's not against the law. I agree. Yes, Brian, that's what we're watching right now is Lana's stuff. You're saying that the dental malpractice claim, August 26, 2022. Well, you being in the medical field previously, listen, you know as well that a lot of malpractice suits get filed. Now, do they come out to be proof? I don't know what it was.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's anybody can file a lawsuit against anybody at any given
Know
time.
what you mean? Yeah. Another thing is, just before you go forward, how did well, we're going to probably find out how the police got in the house because the door got broken into. They got They got in somehow. But did they check first before they bust the door down? Was the door open? Obviously it wasn't, because, you know, his friends came to the house. They couldn't get in the house. So the door must have been locked or something, because they said they couldn't get in the house. You would think that they would have tried both doors to see if they could get in. Now,
I'm
how
sure
did
they
this?
did. I'm sure they did try the doors to see if they could get in.
Right. So how did that person get in the house unless they were already inside because they were invited?
Well, oh, you mean the person that maybe did this? Or listen,
Yeah.
again, I'm not ruling out murder-suicide, so I'm not ruling that out. Yes, the weapon
Yeah.
is missing. Where is it? I don't know, but I'm not
Right.
ruling that out.
So if the
And-
doors weren't open and they were locked, because I'm sure that the police would have tried the doors, or their friends would have tried the doors first to see if they could get in the house. And were they even in the house? You know, we don't really know exactly if they were. Did they go in the house or not?
Right. Brian's talking about some malpractice lawsuits. They had to pay $18 million, but this particular dentist, it was not his practice, right? Somebody else owned it.
Yes, he was in charge of
Yeah,
the.
he ran it, but there was a different owner that owned it
Yeah, different owner, and he was in Florida at the time.
on vacation.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't know if he was on vacation or not, because you could be an owner but not go to there.
He said he was on vacation.
Oh, he did say
Yeah,
actually he was
said
on vacation.
Yeah.
Right, and you're entitled to go on vacation. You have people working for you. You're entitled to take off.
Listen, before I play the rest of this little clip, I really want to get to Surviving the Survivors. Theirs was really, really good. But also, they talk about there was a finance problem, and the brother-in-law left the house mad just earlier. I don't think it said exactly how much earlier. Was it a month? Was it 2? I don't know. But there seemed to be a fight with the family over finances. And they bring that up, I believe, in the Surviving the Survivor.
Yeah, because I did say to you, was it somebody mad at someone because something happened? Right? That could be, it could be that as well. You know, somebody's reading about, I just wondered how they got in the house. That's all I'm wondering.
Right. Okay,
somebody they knew. I'm thinking somebody they knew. I don't know, but it sounds like because they took it out on the guy, right? Because he got shot so many times. That's overkill and that's anger, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, it could be a woman.
It could be a woman. It could have been a woman. We don't know. Could have been a woman.
Could have been a lot of things. The other thing I want to say is I'm an avid Scanner listener. I listen to Scanner all the time. And people make mistakes, okay? They get these calls. They get so many crazy calls. They're constantly getting calls. Not only that, they have to say somebody's not breathing. They have to tell the people what exactly to do. So to try to blame the 911 operator, I mean, they got a tough job, okay? I'm just going to say that. They got a tough job, and they don't get paid a lot of money to do that job. It's a job I wouldn't want, so. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go back to this because I really want to get to Joel and what he did. It was really good.
She had Mark on the phone for a good 3 minutes. Google Map for you.
Thank you, Lana. Please go over and give Lana a good like.
Stay safe out there, Opal, in Australia, because they got the fires going. Say a prayer for Opal.
Yeah. Trying to speed this up just a little bit.
Lana, you just nailed it. Yeah. I know my area. So is that zooming in enough for you guys to see? This is exactly where he was. Let me just show you. If you go This is 8th. Okay.
Elena
And right here down,
do amazing on it.
there's the
boots on the
the old
ground.
Huckleberry house, but gotta keep
We
shouting
all
back
need boots on the
here.
ground. Boots
Yeah.
on the ground.
It's in your town. Go boots on the ground.
Yep.
What's all this? Oh, yay. And see these trees and stuff? None of that's blocking any view.
And she said she was headed
See how
home
it
that
used to
day.
be? Those are all built in there.
And yes, she did amazing. I agree.
There you go. See? So
She's
remember
doing the
the
map
one way.
one
So
now,
this
though.
is 8th. So if you go
Right.
walk
She's
all
doing
the
the
way
map.
down where
She's not
8th
there live
ends,
on this one.
That's right.
I should say ends, but
Live. She did go out there live, but we haven't seen it yet.
that's the Huckleberry house. This is right where I saw that. I was like, oh my God, he's on Summit. And so this is Summit. And this is your one way because 4th goes one way the other way. Summit, I told you guys, remember, goes one way the opposite way of 4th. Okay. And when I saw this white sign, I said, holy shit, that's the, this is a Huckleberry property right here as well. And they use it for, like purposes of, you see that camera right there? I mean, they use it for multiple purposes, but this property and then right behind it, this is the big Huckleberry house right there.
What's a Huckleberry house? I don't even know what a Huckleberry house is. Guess I should Google that, huh?
Just so you guys can have your surroundings of where that was at. So if you guys are just joining us,
Yeah, Google that.
again,
See
I will
what that
play the
is.
body worn camera one more time from the top. And we have reason to believe that, I don't know if he was just listening over the radio, and she repeated it back to him and said, I don't know how you can go from, it's in the paperwork correctly, where he was supposed to go to 1411. Okay.
Okay. The Huckleberry House provides a safe haven for our youth in Central Ohio. This program was founded in 1970, helps children who left home because of violence, poverty, and other family issues.
Oh, so it's for children, for youth.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what it says. Back
Okay.
to the police station.
Big mistake.
I think I'm ready to
Can-
go ahead and
exclusive
get to, she's going to do the
of
police
the-
officers in the chiefs.
And well, mainstream people in danger.
You did everything.
We already saw that. Anyway, she said,
There's anybody in the area.
let's get to Joel. Okay, surviving the survivor. We're going to share this one. This one, I really like the people he has on panel too to speak. Okay, let me share his channel. We'll have to skip in a couple times. Please go like Surviving the Survivor. And we'll stop it a couple times. But there's a lot to gather here. And again, these guys that he has on panel, I think they're great. Got 2 homicide detectives and and a beat officer. The beat officer used to work with the chief of police in Detroit, the chief of police from Columbus. Did you have anything else to say real quick, Tierney? Want to make sure I'm not cutting you off.
I was muted, so you don't hear me moving around.
Oh, okay.
No, we can just let's listen to him, and then I'll mute myself.
Okay, yeah, I really like this. Let's go.
Go from bad to worse, as we are learning today that the police who initially did that wellness check, well, they went to the wrong home, and it was 40 minutes later
It is an
that
awful
the bodies
story.
of Spencer,
agree.
Monique, Tepe were found. So what is going on with this investigation? Well, we should have a little bit of insight because for the first time today, the police chief talked publicly.
Welcome to the global phenomenon, Surviving the Survivor.
Or that's
Here's
a
your
bit.
host, Emmy Award-winning.
To us, casinos to infiltrate the Cuban mob, but this guy was
We'll get to the beginning.
Ramos, the other legendary homicide detective who's investigated about as many as Phil Waters. But Phil Waters wasn't taking $1 million in cash through casinos to infiltrate the Cuban mob.
love
But
you
this
too,
guy
Noel.
was Phil Ramos, 3-time Officer of the Year, and all around, with no offense to the other guests, perhaps the coolest cat on our show. Last up, Darnell Blackburn coming to us, a retired police officer with Auburn Hills, Michigan, out of the great state of Michigan, and he does analysis for the local NBC station. And Darnell, let me just start with you. I don't know if you worked in any sort of PIO role when you were at Auburn Hills. You're in Michigan. This is Ohio. A case of this magnitude that literally is, it's taken the media by storm like a wildfire ravages through a desert area. What will you do to sort of calm the nerves? Because we don't know who the shooter or shooters are at this point, and you've got people living in this neighborhood.
Well, you got to speak, Joe. You got to speak, and you got to say something like you said. And getting out ahead of this sooner than later would have been better. Interesting thing about all of this, from my perspective, is the police chief, Elaine Bryant, came from DPD. She was a commander in Detroit Police Department, and she's now in Columbus, Ohio. She's doing a good job overall, but you got to say,
yes, Brian, that you could have a possibility there. It's obviously personal. So was it because of a lawsuit? Who knows? Who knows?
Just what was finally said. Hey, we are investigating this. We believe that this is a targeted, specific incident, if that's what the case is, and we're doing everything we can to keep the public safe. And you got to make sure you got patrols over in that area big time, so that you can quell the nerves of the people who live there.
Yeah. And do you know Chief Bryant, since she did work at DPD
Absolutely.
Detroit? You did.
I do.
Tell us a little bit about her. I mean, is she a competent law enforcement official?
Absolutely. Very competent. She rose through the ranks at DPD, rose to the rank, I believe, ultimately of commander, which is a pretty high rank for the city of Detroit Police Department. Very competent. Her staff, she took a few people there with her from the Detroit Police Department, but also is well liked by the officers there. She's been there for, I'm not exactly sure, but at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. So she's been there for a while. You know how that goes. Chiefs don't stick around if they're not well received by the department, but very competent in her abilities and her staff's abilities, and has changed things there for the city of Columbus.
Yeah. By the way, there's a lot of new developments today. Some big, some small, but we're going to get through them one by one. Jeff Weninger, I don't want to throw us all into a tailspin here, but Jeff, I think I can share this. Jeff said, man, I wish I could turn my brain off at night. The thing that I love about these guys so much is some people do a job, but when you are hosting a show like this and you really get to meet these guys and know these guys, this is not a job for none of them. These guys live, eat, and breathe this, and they're trying to figure it out, even when it's hundreds of miles away, thousands of miles away, and they're thinking about it when they're going to the CVS to pick up a prescription or with their kids. This is really their lives, right? So
I just wondered, in a minute, can you put the chat up on the screen? So, because I'm live streaming from my channel, so people can see what people are saying. If you can do that in a minute.
Yeah, I was just, I didn't want to cut off these people's faces, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've been, every time there's something, I do click on it.
Yeah, okay then.
Well, I just didn't want to cut off, because it goes on the right here. And I really want people to be able to see what they're saying. We'll see if it cuts them off. That's the only reason I didn't put it on there. If it cuts them off, I'm going to take it back off.
Okay? Oh, okay then. Yeah.
Thank you.
Say all that because last night, sort of out of the blue, and I love this, Jeff texts me and he says, I wouldn't completely rule out a murder-suicide.
See what I'm saying? It cuts their faces off. It cuts their faces off if I let it keep going on there. Sorry, I think your diapers for your dogs here because Weston's going nuts and there's a FedEx.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I'll get it.
Weston, come here. They'll just leave it at the front door. Okay, let's go.
In this case, and I said, Jeff, I want to get you on to discuss that. There's no weapon. So, Jeff, tell us what was rolling around that brain of yours that brought you to that possibility.
Well, there's just been things throughout the story initially breaking that just kind of is difficult for me to reconcile. And as I'm piecing every little thing together, it just occurred to me that I couldn't rule that out. Now, let me get into some of the specifics about what I'm talking about. So I first found it really peculiar. We find out that he was shot multiple times. She was shot once in the chest. Now, I just thought that was peculiar. You have to face the woman, look her right in the face when you're shooting her in the chest. And that typically, yes, that's a place where people will shoot the torso when they're shooting to kill somebody. In this case, you would want to eliminate a potential witness.
Hey,
But
Dan, welcome in, Dan.
It just occurred to me that that just seemed a little odd. That if you were a ruthless killer intent on neutralizing that person as a witness, that you would probably go to a more fatal location, which would be the head. And so that was the first thing that kind of struck me. And then I was thinking about it, where they had, when I listened to the 911 call reporting about the friend who reports that he didn't go any further than the hallway. And when he called the report that he saw the male body that he believed to be deceased in the bedroom, that was not consistent with the report that it was seen from outside. So if we then have somebody that's inside the location, I started thinking about the possibility of a suicide. Women are twice as likely as men, when they commit suicide, to shoot themselves in the chest than they are in the head.
Yes, and this was what I was saying before I ever saw this. Exactly what this guy's saying. It happens all the time. They don't shoot themselves in the face because, after they're gone, they still care about what they look like.
Because they're more concerned about the appearances, even in death, than men are. So I'm thinking, if a family member or a friend goes in and their initial instinct is to try to protect the reputation,
go ahead, Brian.
or a story of this magnitude breaking, where it's a murder suicide, that they may instinctually take the gun. Now, first, I initially thought, before I even thought of that, I thought about the 4-year-old child. I'm like, I wonder if they've looked in the toy chest, because it's quite possible a 4-year-old.
That is something else we said. What if the child saw the gun on the ground and picked it up and moved it somewhere? When this story first started breaking, me and Journey was talking about that. It's not unusual for a kid to be curious and grab something. Could the kid have grabbed that gun? Very possible. Again, I really like all three of these guys that's on this panel.
Could just pick it up and not even really know what it is and put it in with all the toys. That sort of thing. Because I'm telling you, I've had experiences where I'm investigating, specifically an officer-involved shooting that I investigated, where I knew from the forensic evidence that the suspect had a gun and fired at the officer.
That's the other thing. If it was a murder-suicide, did they do GSD on the hands to see if they had fired a weapon? I would think they did. We don't know.
Officers. I had that. And the individual committed suicide, but we could not find him.
Oh, hold on.
We tried every.
Go ahead.
And was there a struggle? Is there hair? Is there any DNA? All those kind of things.
Right. Right. But the big thing to rule out murder-suicide, just because there's not a weapon, maybe they didn't look well enough. Maybe somebody picked up the weapon. We don't know. But they would have gunshot residue on their hands.
Yeah, they would.
So, and listen, detectives are way better than me, so I'm sure they got that.
Everything. I can't tell you how much overtime we paid and every resource that we used and type of technology that was accessible to us to try to locate the gun. We couldn't locate the gun. So it was just things that.
Where was it? Where was it?
Where
was the weapon? The weapon
was never found.
It was never found. Really?
Never found. Now, granted, we used a SWAT. The SWAT team used a Bearcat and took down one of the walls so we could get better view inside. So it's possible that somehow it was just unrecoverable based on that, but it's not impossible. It just nothing. I don't ever eliminate anything.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, and I'm really just shocked that we're over 2 weeks into this. And even when I watched that wasn't a press conference. I would have preferred a press conference over an interview with the news, the way they did it. I just wasn't really confident that they have a lot of anything. And granted, that may be okay. There's a lot to go through, but I saw a video of that supposedly is somebody leaving the house because they're saying that there was a family argument over finances.
Yeah, I don't know where they saw this at, but I had heard this too, and it might have been from this channel, that there was an argument over finances, something about the brother-in-law. Let's play that back a little bit. They got to investigate everything.
Confident that they have a lot of anything. And granted, that may be okay. There's a lot to go through, but I saw a video of that supposedly is somebody leaving the house because they're saying that there was a family argument over finances at one point prior to this incident. And there's a photo of supposedly a brother-in-law leaving the home. Well, if you have that, why don't we have other things the night of the incident as far as the imagery? And the only thing that they have is that one video. It just seems to be such a slow roll.
Yeah. Real quick. Hey, CO.
There is something else that came out that just shocked me to daylights. There's a neighbor down the street that has video, okay? And he tells the police department he don't video at night. He don't video at night. That would be where you would want a video, right? It's going to come up in here. I found that really strange. I'd be checking out that neighbor. He said he's got video of the day, but he don't video at night.
That's crazy.
I didn't know you can shut them off like that.
Yeah, but why would you? What's the point of having cameras?
Yeah, that's going to come up in here. Like I said, this was a really good panel. I love this panel.
That was a really good point. I mean, that's weird.
I'm ahead of myself, but yeah, when they talk about the neighbor has video, but he don't video at night, what the fuck? Are you serious? I couldn't believe it.
Because he goes out at night, maybe,
Yeah, or he's got a girlfriend comes in at night. Like, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. But
yeah, that's a very strange thing to do, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's going to come up. And yeah, they got their points on it too. Here we go.
I know you're listening. What about, do we have the latest 911 call? I saw that, but do we have the 911 call from December 19th? We're going to need that.
This is the 911 call that you're talking about, where the lady says somebody's at her door at 2:45 in the morning. Here we go.
Please. Thank you so much.
He's got a producer. I've got a producer too.
Interesting. And listen, I bet if I go to, I haven't gone down in the comments.
Yeah, it's his wife.
Oh, this guy's a crackpot. Are you right? Look at this. Look at this. This is
no, it's not his wife. He's got like several people that work for him. He's got a good channel.
Yeah, he probably does by now. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a good channel. Here we go.
No, STS. Hold on a sec.
You know what? You got to be a crackpot.
Look at this. Oh my God. How can anyone take this guy? So right on cue. You help me out here. Now you're talking to a guy who is a retired lieutenant in the second largest police department. You think he got there by accident? This guy has been investigating cases for 33 years. With all due respect, it's me, Gina Ray.
Yeah, it's coming up. Our guy in Noel.
Probably none. And he's not saying this definitively. He's saying that this is a possibility. And what I've learned from investigators is they don't rule anything out. Phil Ramos, do you take Jeff Weninger seriously, or are you like Gina Ray?
100%. He's spot on. That was one of the very first things I thought of. But when
me too.
Phil, hold on one second. Phil Ramos only worked homicide for 15 plus years in the force, 35 plus years, three-time Vegas Officer of the Year. So Gina Ray, I don't want to sound like the kind of douchey guy that I'm sounding like right now, but my point is this: everyone is an armchair quarterback, and everyone has a right to an opinion. But you got to understand, these guys are coming with 30 combined right here. You got like 90 years of investigative experience, and they've been at these scenes. So that's just the point I'm making. And I have unbelievable respect for them. So go ahead, Detective Brown.
Yeah, it was when we were going over the wounds that each victim suffered, the first thing that jumped out at me was that she was shot once in the chest. And women do that. Just spot on. Women, for some reason, when I come across a suicide where the victim is a woman, I can count on one hand how many times they've shot themselves in the head. It's almost always in the chest. There's a lot of people who have different reasons for that, people that are a lot smarter than I am, but I've seen it, I've looked at it, and it makes, I wouldn't say it makes sense, but it's understandable. The other thing is the characteristics of that single gunshot wound to the chest. If it was a suicide, then that's going to be a close contact wound. And there's going to be certain things that we look for in a close contact wound. I don't want to give up too much information, but if the body received a gunshot wound from 3 inches away, 6 inches away to 4 feet away, there's different pieces of evidence that tell us exactly that. It almost comes down to a science where you can get within inches of where the barrel of that gun was to where the bullet made penetration into the body. So obviously, he didn't commit suicide because he was shot more than once. Although that's not completely unusual, it's very unusual on a suicide. He would have had to have missed his vital organs on the first shot and said, "Oh, I missed. Let me move the gun over a couple inches and see if I can get my heart this time." But we don't know the extent of the wound trajectories on him. So yeah, it's out there, but we've seen it. I've seen it, and anybody who's spent any time in homicide has seen those very exact things. So I understand, the people, general public saying, "Oh man, how can you come up with an idea like that?" Because we consider everything. We don't eliminate anything until we know that no, that didn't happen. It's not possible for that to have happened.
Yeah. And by the way, I got that text message, which I love, is I'm up all night, but I got it late from Jeff. So I know he was up thinking about it. From High Anxiety, that should be my name. Love that movie, and love Mel Brooks. And
I mean, the one thing about this is, like, you would think you just got to ask the questions, and I'm absolutely not saying that I believe that's what happened. I'm just saying we just can't rule it out. So we have to ask the questions and take it to the next step. And like in California, if you were to run the names of the decedents here, you could see if they had a gun registered to them, because in the state of California, you're required to register any guns that you own. Ohio's different. Ohio, if you buy a gun from a gun dealership, your initial purchaser, you have to register it. It'll be registered under your.
That was one thing I found strange too, because in Kansas it's the same way. If you have a gun, you have to register it in your name. They don't do that in Ohio. Found that strange.
Your name. But if you take that gun and I want to sell it to Phil, I can say, "Phil, I'm going to give you a deal, $200 for this gun." He gives me $200 cash. I hand him the gun. He doesn't have to register it in the state of Ohio. So a gun can have this life of multiple owners, and you can't track it. So, initially I was thinking, well, I wonder if he has a 9mm that's registered to him and they haven't found a gun. Where would that gun be, or that kind of a thing. But in Ohio, that wouldn't necessarily be the case, because you can buy a gun off of a friend and not have to register it. But it's just that type of step. It's just those types of steps that you take. It's called to be a good investigator. You have to be patient. You have to follow a process, and you have to be curious. And being curious means that you think outside the box. You think of the almost impossible.
And you have to keep an open mind about everything.
Yeah. I want to get to Darnell. Go ahead.
And I'm not going to tell you that I completely agree with the fellows, but I tell you what, that you can't rule anything out. I agree with that. If that could speak, though, specifically to why there hadn't been anything said about this. I mean, let's be honest. You got these two people. They are high end. This is high. These are two, or at least an affluent person in the community, a dentist. You got his wife, you know,
I will say this, there's a lot of people in the chat that's from that area, says it's a really bad area. There's one block with nice houses, the rest of it is a bad area. But anymore, every place is a bad area. You know, a good friend of mine, he called me yesterday. There's some townhomes down the street. And he called me, he's looking at buying one for his daughter. And he asked me what I thought about that area. And I said, well, 3 years ago, they had some bad people in there and there was cops there all the time. It seems like it's a good area now, but we live in a good area, but bad things even happen in our area. Happens everywhere.
I'm sure it's a very, very nice neighborhood, very nice situation. And there may be something where that
It was not a nice neighborhood. Just that one block is a nice neighborhood. You got a homeless shelter there. Now we're finding out I can be your Huckleberry, the Huckleberry House, you know, for kids that's went through some issues.
where the chief and everyone else, they know,
That could be anybody's area. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
or they may suspect that. And yet this is such a high profile case that they don't say something. And that could be why, because of this. So again, I'm not saying that that's definitely the case, but like these gentlemen saying, you can't rule anything out. And as the leader of an organization, you have to be very, very intent in how you describe and bring this out. But you got to say something.
Yeah. And I agree 100%. And high anxiety. I was complimenting them on the name. But what about the People Magazine report that a woman on their street called 911 at 2:31 a.m. 11 days before this to report someone pounding on her? That, in fact, is new news.
Listen, I'm going to say this. I guess from now on, you just got to investigate everybody. You know, we know the situation with the car. There's another thing about the car situation. You know, she took my battery jumper and I asked her about it and she said she'd mail it back. I ain't got that back yet either.
And we're going to play that. But first, the COE is working really hard behind the scenes, as is Steve Cohen, as is Space Coast, as are the mods. This is a local story. You guys all know I was a broadcast news guy in my previous life, and I always like to check in and see how they're covering stuff. And they got an exclusive interview with the police chief, Elaine Bryant, who Darnell knows.
Listen, so Nona, I agree with you. It's a felony to sell it to somebody that's not supposed to have a weapon, but we don't know everybody's life. You know, I guess if you're selling a weapon, but I mean, what if it's your brother-in-law and he had a DV and you didn't know it? Are you really going to investigate everybody? Maybe that's what we've come to. Listen, I can't trust you for you at your word no more, right? Can't trust anybody for the word. You know, growing up, your word was everything. But it seems like a lot of people's word is not.
And the assistant chief, we're going to watch this. It's a little bit long. We'll watch it together. We'll break it down. I've got a timeline too, because there's been so much misinformation. So we're going to kind of put aside the stuff that we don't know and look at the stuff that we do know. And I think the COE also has that new 911 call. So a lot to get through in the show. But this is from Columbus, Ohio's local news. Let's take a look together.
A week after Spencer and Monique Tepe were found shot to death inside their Wineland Park home, Columbus police say the case remains active, ongoing, and anything but typical. Police Chief Elaine Bryant and Assistant Chief Greg Bodker sitting with us Thursday to discuss the case.
We know that there are a lot of concerns and a lot of
Skip
questions.
over this because we've
surrounding
already
this
seen
case,
this
and we
part.
want to be able to
We're going to
be
skip
as
over it and listen to the guys talk about it.
Now, and I'll have you unmute yourself when it's time. But it's interesting. We had Phil Waters on last night, who's a homicide detective
Waiting
with
on the
over
picture
400
back. I
cases.
don't know
And
what
he
happened
said, look,
here.
if I was compromise the integrity of the investigation. And that's essentially exactly what Elaine Bryant did here. Is that what she needed to do? Should she have said more or less? What do you think?
well, I think you got to look at what she didn't say. And that, you know, maybe that's a snippet of it, but what she didn't say is, and maybe you guys heard it or something, did she say the public was not at risk? That if that wasn't said, that's something to take note of, you know, as to what they may have, what they think they have. What's unique about this is typically a police chief would do a presser, meaning they do a presser where multiple media outlets would be there, and you're going to send the media release to all the stations, local stations. You're going to say, hey, at 2:00 we're going to do a presser to talk about this case. That strikes me as very odd. That's not something that would normally happen when you sit down one-on-one with a reporter and you just give an interview like that. I don't know if that has that as much bearing on the case, but those things are things that we need to pay attention to, is to why that was done in that way. The thing though about her getting on top of it, you got to say something. We're diligently invested.
Listen, I've watched that wedding video many times myself, but what she's saying is a week prior to this happening. How do we know that, Noel? Where did you see that at? How would we even know that? Weird.
Getting this, that should have been said in the very beginning, in a presser, not just in this one-on-one kind of dance around. Hey, we take all our homicides seriously. So it is interesting, the perspective. I do have confidence that in Elaine and her abilities as the chief. But this is.
I love Lana, but when I sent everybody there the other night and her mods was absolute dickheads, really made me sour on Lana's channel. I'm not even gonna lie. And it was said that he was shot 9 times, and she said, "We don't know. There was 3 casings." Well, okay, so there might have only been 3 casings, Lana, on the ground. That don't mean somebody didn't pick up the other 6 or 7. Okay, she was very testy the other night, and I don't know why. Yes, she's in that area, and she should be boots on the ground, but don't be dogging everybody else. And when we send people to your channel, don't treat them like shit. So, needless to say, I did not stay for the whole thing. It really pissed me off, and them mods can kiss my ass over there. They were rude, and she was rude herself too. I don't understand it.
The unique approach to how they've handled this.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back counterclockwise here, but Phil Ramos, people are smart. I think people in general, I think dogs are smarter, but people in general are underestimated by politicians and those types who think the public is not smart, but they are. And to Darnell's point, they're going to know that basically she's talking to say nothing here. She didn't really offer up much, but to Darnell's most important point, I think it's what she didn't say. And she did not, as far as I heard, say that the public is not at risk.
Listen, let's not forget, whether it be TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, many people, they do this for a living and they do it for views. So don't forget that.
Never said, don't worry, this is an isolated incident. So if I'm living in that neighborhood, I am pretty worried. So I want to get your reaction to that, but I'm going to give you this question too. I've been a subscriber since STS began, and Taylor Day, I don't think I've ever seen your name, so thank you and thank you. I'm wondering about ballistics. If firearms are handled in the manner it is, they must have recovered bullets from the victims. I mean, they certainly.
Listen, I'm not trying to dog Lana. I like Lana. I think with the Idaho 4, she dug real deep. Now, do I get into her other cases? I do not. Do I get into her little trial shit with other people? I do not. I'm not interested in that at all. And I just thought she was very testy the other night. I was very disappointed. And one of her mods had jumped somebody coming in there and said, "Go back and watch the last video before you come in here." No, bitch. We sent people there. Have a little passion here. We sent people to the channel to watch. Don't jump them like that. I was very disturbed over it.
They have the shell casings, but Phil, if you can couple that together with her not talking about not mentioning that the public is safe, coupled with ballistics here.
Yeah, let's talk about the ballistics first. If it was a semi-automatic, then there's going to be casings. Maybe if the bad guy didn't pick them up and.
There is no way for a creator to see exactly who's clicking, And again, I don't know what was up with Lana the other day. Yeah, that might be in her town. Well, fuck, get out, boots on the ground. That's how Clamati got all her views. Get out there and get boots on the ground. Go live. But don't dog everybody else that's trying to cover this, and don't jump people that come in and say, "Well, he was shot 9 times." No, he wasn't. And I got the ballistics. There was 3 casings. Okay. So maybe they didn't get them 3, but maybe they picked up the other casings. Don't jump people when they come into your chat like that. And again, her mods was absolute dicks the other night.
And take them with him. It was a revolver. There would have been no casings to recover. The projectiles would be the ones where you're going to get your ballistic information. You'll be able to get a pretty good idea of the caliber. The lands and grooves on the caliber will narrow down some of the weapons.
Listen, absolutely. Lana went and got the body camera stuff. So did Plunder. Listen, there's plenty of great YouTube creators, and we can like them all. And there's going to be some that is not your cup of tea, and that's okay. I like our little small channel. I like our little small group chats. Do I have all the fancy shit? Fuck no, I don't. But I like what we got here. But do I go see other places? Yeah. And there's going to be places I go that you don't like. You know it. I know it. If you don't like a channel, don't go there. I'm just saying, I left Lannis the other night for that reason. All the bullshit that was going on over there. And I do love Plunder. Paula does really good job.
That they could have been fired from. But without casings, it's going to be difficult to say without the weapon itself if they were all fired by the same weapon. That would be one thing that you're going to find out. They're going to compare the.
Yes. And so we had watched her live, and I said, hey, I'm going to end my live. Let's go watch her live. She's live right now. She's going to have call-ins. And people were asking, I thought you were having call-ins. And then her mods was saying, don't you pay attention? She's not doing call-ins. Well, it said in the title, call-ins. She also said, I might let you up on panel for 1 minute and then I'm kicking you. That's call-ins. And she didn't do a 1. And that's what was in the title. But her mods was being mean to people.
Bullet or bullets that they recovered and see if they were all fired from the same weapon. They'll be able to tell that.
No, you can't tell who.
And then the other thing is they're going to be able to tell at the autopsy the trajectory of the projectiles, whether they came in top to bottom, left to right, and the path that the bullets took once they entered the body. So they'll be able to get a pretty good idea of the caliber, depending on how much damage the bullet suffered when it went through.
Stop this up. Let me catch up. I love you too, Brian. I love everybody in here. Like I said, I like having our small channel. I really, really do. Rock, I was in there and I was responding to you, but you were already gone, and I 100% agree with you. Remember when I showed you the text, someone said, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, again, you know, some of these creators get too big, okay? And then they get too sassy. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And as far as you cannot see, even in your studio on a YouTube, you cannot see who exactly viewed your views. You only see how many views it's got and when it spiked up and when it went down. You can't pinpoint it to one specific thing. The only time you can pinpoint it to one specific person is when you leave a comment or the like. So there you go. Okay, I'm done with my rant on that.
And struck hard objects like bones, you know, rib cage, sternum, stuff like that.
I think it was not 9mm, right? That's what the casings were.
Oh, there was casings recovered?
There were 3 casings recovered, 9mm.
All right, so that'll give them a lot more information. They'll be able to tell whether the gun fired the bullets that were in each body, or if the casings were fired by 2 different guns. And so what the chief said,
I'm not going to take it from Lana. Like, she did the body cam. She does good stuff, but anymore, she's kind of got an attitude and a shitty attitude at that. And her mods suck. They're hateful. They think they're something special. They're not any more special than you with wrenches in here. And that pisses me off when they act that way.
we'll switch horses there. What the chief was saying, and Darnell's right, it was what she didn't say. I would have expected her to say, if the public was safe, then without going way out on a limb, say, hey, look, you guys don't have anything to worry about, go to bed tonight. And you know,
listen, people are going to say things. You know how many people live in fucking Columbus, Ohio? Millions. Okay. So could she know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody? That's very possible. But Columbus, Ohio, and right there by the university, there's millions of people. Millions.
I'll just make sure your doors are locked type of thing. But if they have absolutely no idea, if this is a real whodunit up until this point, it's going to be difficult for them to say that, because you don't want to give the public a false sense of security if, God forbid, tomorrow night the same thing happens 2 blocks away. So that would be a real problem. But I think their focus right now is trying to get somewhere. So, you know, the holdback that we encounter on just about every case, the sensitive nature of the case and the information that only the killer is going to know is never going to be released to the public, because you're going to jeopardize your case. The integrity of the case is out the window if you start giving up all your secrets. So I think she said enough that hopefully the public will be okay with what she said to a point, but as the days go on, if no more information comes forward, they're going to get a little antsy down there, and they're going to say, hey, you need to tell us if we're safe or not.
Yeah. Someone just commented, and Jeff, I want to ask you about that, and feel free to weigh in on the chief. And then this question too is important. But what we're learning today also is actually from, I believe, the Columbus Dispatch.
I see exactly what Brian's saying, though. And where did it come from? Fuck, I don't know. But he's saying that Lana says that somebody was watching the wedding video, many, many times a week prior. There's no way to know exactly who was watching that. Listen, a lot of people turn to social media. They watch a lot of things. They watch it more than once. I don't know. Now, after this happened, I know I watched that wedding video many times.
Like to give attribution.
You know what I was thinking?
Is warranted.
Yes.
You know, when you got a dog, you take him out to the bathroom last thing at night, right?
Uh-huh.
I was thinking, well, maybe somebody could have jumped him when he took the dog out, but we need the video of that.
I really think they know a whole lot, a whole lot. They've got that Nest camera on the front. You've got that one house that Lana showed that had all them cameras. You got a police station right down the street with tons of cameras. You got a CCTV camera right outside facing the front door. They got video. Not all them damn cameras are broke. Not all them damn cameras quit working because it's cold outside. They've got video. They've got video.
And they do believe they gave us a time when they think this happened.
Okay, you said you hadn't seen this. It's fixing to get really interesting, and you guys are going to love it.
Okay.
These guys are going to talk about the time from 2 to 5. How in the fuck do you come up with that time? What do you got that's pinpointing it? Let's just play it. It's really good. Like I said, this was so good.
And they did a good job. They found out through their reporting that when there was this wellness check on December 30th after the murders, you get the first 911 call from the owner of the dental office, and we have the longer versions of those two calls we're going to play in a little bit. But after the owner of the dental office calls, he's asking for a wellness check, and then two officers go over to the house. They don't see anything. They leave, and then the bodies are found roughly 40 minutes later by a friend. But it turns out they didn't go to the right house, Jeff. We don't know if dispatch sent them to the wrong house, if they had the address wrong. On a case that is this high profile, it's certainly.
Okay, so Noel says off topic, but does anyone who's behind They Live 1984? I'm not sure what you're saying, Noel. Does anybody else understand what she's saying? Do you understand what she's saying, Journey? Because maybe I'm just locked today. I'm not really sure. I might need a little more to that, Noel. Off topic, but does anyone who's behind They Live 1984? I'm just not sure what that comment is, love. Hawkeye says they know a lot more than we realize. Absolutely. As Rock says, keeping it very close to the chest, I believe, for a good reason. Absolutely. I think they pretty much know who did it, too. No, okay. So They Live 1984, a channel. No, I've never seen it, but I'll be happy to go check it out. I don't even know what it's about, but I'll go check it out. Okay, here we go.
Certainly does not. The optics don't look good. It looks more like a phrase I'm sure you guys hate, the Keystone Cops or the Bad News Bears. But how do you make a mistake? I mean, mistakes happen, but how does this happen?
Well, I'll start really quickly with the media aspect of this, and Darnell was spot on. My thoughts are very similar to his in regards to. I found it a little peculiar that she sat down with one journalist rather than having a press conference for many. In regards to the public being safe, I do recall the assistant chief stating that we have to balance the release of information and consider the integrity of the investigation as well as the safety of the public. And that's a balancing act for us. That to me tells me kind of what Phil alluded to is they're not really sure what they have and they can't go one way or the other. They can't commit one way or the other. So they're just kind of staying in purgatory. looking for that piece of information that's going to help break this case for them. In regards to this 911 call, we discussed the other day about how the 911 operator was receiving the information and actually questioning what's changed from the last time you called and those sorts of things. So, we had that issue that probably, if we were going to look for areas for improvement from that perspective of the police department, the 911 caller could probably conduct herself a little better. But now we find out that the officer went to the wrong address. Now, I'm not clear on whether he went to the wrong address because he was dispatched to the wrong address and it was not paying attention to detail relative to where the call was sent to, or if the officer made the mistake. That's not clear to me. I've seen it reported differently in regards to the articulation, but I can't determine which occurred. But it does tend to speak to there may be some type of issue they want to address with their communication.
And Jeff, I'm going to hop in real quick. STS, man, I always say best guest, better community. These guys are on top of it, men and women. Apparently they FOIA'd or know someone who did, and they were apparently dispatched to the right address. Dispatchers have been taking a lot of heat because they were kind of short-tempered. But if this is in fact true, that the FOIA had the correct address and they went to the wrong house, you're a retired lieutenant. You're one of the brass, one of the bosses. What kind of conversation would you have with these officers?
Well, I mean, listen, when you're talking about an issue like this, a mistake, you have mistakes of the mind and mistakes of the heart. And if it's a mistake of the heart, then you got a problem. If it's a mistake of the mind, all of us aren't perfect and we perhaps will make mistakes. So this is something that you can address just with counseling or whatever. If they have a history, then obviously you have to have some type of progressive discipline and that sort of a thing. But, at the end of the day, I just suspect it was an honest mistake. And, I give kudos to the police department for being transparent and giving the information that, hey, we weren't perfect in this. And they didn't wait until somebody else released it and have a response to it.
Yeah, Brian, I played it the other day. You're talking about when the dentist was the big brother for big brothers, big sisters. Is that what you're talking about? That was interesting. Yeah.
They disclosed it without any necessity to do so other than they want to be transparent. So I really applaud the chief and all of the people, police executives with that organization for making that decision. It gives me confidence that that they're conducting themselves with a high level of integrity.
I just jumping in completely agree with Jeff, because a lot of departments would not say that. They would not. They'd wait for it to be found before they'd release it. And just speaking from, I could just wholeheartedly agree. Officers make mistakes, and sometimes officers are not as thorough as they should be. But the other thing is,
well, let's not forget, down in the Panhandle, Texas County, Matt Boley refuses to let his sheriff officers wear body cams. I don't understand it. I thought ever since the BLM movement and all that crazy shit that they all would wear body cams. Why is taxpayers paying for body cameras and then they don't use them? I'm glad that they use them, but they don't use them down there in the Panhandle. Why?
These calls come in quite frequently. This isn't something in a larger city, you get calls, hey, welfare checks, that happens a lot. And you go to a welfare check, you knock on the door, you look around the house, you don't see anything ajar, in this case, we know they weren't at the right address at first, but this is something that happens quite frequently. So it's something that could have happened. Should it have not happened? Yeah, it shouldn't have, but it's something that could have happened. But to even release that.
And we don't know right now if the same cop went for the second welfare check. We don't know. But it's very likely that he could have been on another call when the second welfare check went out. We don't know. Don't know. Yeah, if you're not wearing body camera, you're hiding something. Because we all know law enforcement has a tough job, okay? People just soon shoot you and run from you because they don't want to be caught, okay? At least if you get shot or somebody runs from you, you've got body camera of it, Okay, you got video. Video don't lie. There's a reason why they don't wear their body cams.
Ahead of time, before it's just discovered, is really, it speaks volumes for, as this progresses, what it will look like.
Yeah, and nomad life for me. That's why the cops didn't hear the kids crying or the dogs. And if that other person didn't show up, I hate to think what would happen with a 1 and a 4-year-old alone in a house for very long, especially after you heard Jeff's possibility of a possible theory. If there's, a gun somewhere that wasn't found, although Jeff himself has said that he doesn't think that that's necessarily what happened. Any thoughts? The dog being found closed in a room with the kids. Now, I don't even know. See, now there's information sort of trickling out. Some of it is corroborated, and a lot of it is not. I have not heard that the kids were found locked in a room with the. Yes, I am rooting for Miami. Thank you, Court Dog Daniel. It's happening right now. The Miami Hurricanes. I'm a transplant here in the college football semifinals. Go Canes. But yeah, them not showing up to the house is a pretty big deal when it comes to the kids.
Hang in
Now,
there, Brian.
Phil Ramos, there's a neighbor named Eddie Zhang, Zhang,
Okay.
lives down the street from the
Hey, if you haven't listened to anything else, this is what I'm talking about. This is a neighbor who don't film at night. I find it so crazy. Listen, Nona, there's a difference in letting your dogs out and you don't want to hear it ring or whatever. Every time you step out on my porch, Journey can tell you someone's at the front door. Step out back, someone's at the back door. It don't last that long. Also, on my Fire TVs, on my Fire Sticks, it pops up on the video if you're watching a movie. Up comes the camera. Whether I be in the basement, whether I'm upstairs, wherever I'm at, even my phone driving down the road. I love my cameras. I don't ever shut them off. Does the batteries go dead? Yes. But I don't shut them some bitches off. And why do you care? Why do you shut the cameras off just to go out to let your dogs out? You're outside anyway, right? I don't see the point in shutting your cameras off. That's me.
Peppies. And he spoke to the media and said he's absolutely shocked by the killings. They were very welcoming, he said, when he first moved in. He said he did not hear anything unusual the night of the shooting, and he happens to have video. And he says police were asking him for video. It just so happens that he don't ask me why, he doesn't record overnight. So he did not have video from the 2 to 5 a.m. slot where police think this murder happened, but he has video from other parts of the day. I guess the bigger question is, what does it tell you, I guess, more softly, that police are quietly asking the public there for help in terms of getting video? Does that mean that there are no leads, or they're just looking for more leads?
Yeah, they're trying to narrow the time window down. Man, I've never heard of being able to turn the recording off at certain hours. I mean, why would you want to turn it off, especially in the middle of the night when a lot of crimes occur?
Yeah,
that
no idea.
doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I mean, that's, we often reach out to the public and say, hey, we need some help on this, and please check your cameras at home, see if you see anything unusual. And a lot of times information is gleaned that way. This car drove by at 3:30 and I don't recognize it. Nobody in the neighborhood has a car like that. That sort of thing. It does indicate that, like we've been talking, they don't have a whole lot to go on at this particular point. And if they do, they're keeping it close to the vest, which they need to until they get further along.
Yeah, Jeff, I know you wanted to hop in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just, Phil, to me, the report that I don't record at night.
And they handled it. The police chief came out, said it was a mistake. It happened. They can't do anything about it. The guy went to the wrong place. He's human. Went to the wrong place. Now, if it comes back and he knows the killer and he went to the wrong place because the killer was still in the house, then you got a problem. But humans make mistakes.
That is just a red flag.
Yeah.
You want to?
Oh, sorry.
I would like to see the last week of.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but what I was going to say was, we know there's dirty cops. Not saying he is.
Right.
But we know there is dirty cops, and cops commit crimes for whatever reason. They're human. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe, you know, that officer was in a good mood. He was
Not
singing.
ruling out nothing.
That officer was in a good mood. He was singing. He was whistling, not
Yeah.
thinking it was two dead people somewhere. And he just heard it wrong. He's human. He makes mistakes. Now, again, if he comes back and say there was somebody still in the house and he went to the wrong place to try to let that person out, then he'll deal with it. But a human mistake, it happens.
Yeah.
You got to listen. You got to just let it go. It happens.
Yeah. Like what's the name said, they will probably look into his record, see if this has happened before, to see if it was an honest mistake, you know, what communication was miscommunicated, and they go from there.
And that's not something that we necessarily have to know unless he's got a problem of doing
Yeah,
it.
we don't need to know that, but they will be doing a little investigation, just a little small one.
Listen, police departments have their own internal affairs, and I can
Yep.
guarantee you that they are checking into what happened. Why did he go to the wrong place? I think it was just common human error.
And this time they will have to, because now we want answers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Nona says she switches her cameras off when they let the dogs in and out because it uses up their film. I don't ever shut mine off.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I pay
the
for
thing
the cloud.
is, if you go outside and somebody knows your routine and you let your dogs out, they could be laying wait for you. And if you've got your cameras off, you won't see nothing.
Yeah, what's the point in having cameras if you're going to shut them off? But listen,
Because that's the time, if they're watching you, ready to pounce on you, they're going to wait till you open the door. You got to have your cameras running all times.
yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand it. Ours is going all the time. You know that.
Well, that's just my opinion. You know.
The hell, you're down there watching TV. How many times does it come across your screen? Somebody's at the front door. I like it. I like it because I'm downstairs and I don't have to go up all them stairs. If it's somebody at the door I don't want to talk to.
Oh, yeah, I can hear it on the thing. It says, somebody is at the door. Somebody's at the door.
Well, and if you're actually watching something on the Fire Stick, the camera comes up. Well, how many times have I pulled the camera up and we're just down there talking and watch your van?
Yeah, gotta watch my van, guys. If you know, on the journey.
Everything you own is in your van. So if
Right.
we're down there talking, I'm always pulling up the camera and we're watching the van.
But some people might not realize this. You know, when I go live, I'm just talking to anybody that's listening that's from my channel or anything. I was in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I'm on my travels. I'm not in Wisconsin anymore. So, if you like to do some catch up, go to my other channel because that's where I'll be blogging my travels. There you go, guys. I'm
Yes,
not in
all
Wisconsin
guys,
anymore.
all guys is share the channel. Please go and like Journey and Murphy's travels. She did some videos last night too, just of the area and trying to document things, and go give her a like and check her out. Also, Brian, I don't believe the officer was hiding it. I think he thought he went to the right place. Okay. He's whistling. He's in a good mood. There's no law against whistling. I like the whistling. I like the singing. You know, he's just doing his job, kind of being upbeat. You don't want a sourpuss out on the streets. And he probably never knew he was at the wrong place. And if he wasn't the same one or the group that came to the homicide, he probably didn't even realize he went to the wrong place until the body cams were asked for. Honestly, that's my opinion. I don't think it was done purposely. I think somewhere a mistake happened.
Right. But if he never went on the second call or the third call or anywhere in between the investigation, you know, taping off the area, he probably knew himself that he went to the wrong house.
No, I'm with Brian. I'm real surprised that out of all them phone calls, not one person said, you know, he's a dentist, you know, he didn't show up, patients are waiting, he would never do that. Not once did they mention that he was a dentist at all. I found that strange too. Maybe that's just a little extra information. You know, some people don't have clout like that type of thing. You know, my friend, I would have said, you know, he's a dentist, you know, people's waiting. He wouldn't do this to people type of thing, but they didn't go into detail like that. So it is what it is.
So the owner, when he made that phone call, he didn't say actually he was a doctor, a dentist. He just said my office. He works for me. He's in charge. What did he say?
They just said somebody from their office. He didn't show up
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah,
And then the
they
owner
never.
said He's supposed to be running the place, but they never said he was a dentist. Never, not once.
He never said he was a doctor of any kind.
No,
No.
and one thing I do know is, they go to med school, but your people that is dermatologists and dentists, they were at the high of their class. Like they scored the best. Your specialty doctors, they're the best of the best. That's who gets them jobs. The best. Of the
Yeah,
best.
that guy did mention, I don't know if he mentioned the dog or the children, but he did mention that his wife is not answering his phone, her phone, and he's more concerned because she's not answering the phone.
Right? I'm going to tell you guys this too. I got a really good friend, and if she's listening, I don't mean any harm on this, okay? But her family was hoarders, and she just retired as an MD all of her years, okay? And at my daughter's high school graduation, she showed up in her van, and she had trash piled up in that damn van, and she's an MD. So trying to prejudge people, and she was a damn good MD too, but her van looked like a rolling damn dumpster. Seriously. I remember Jerry saying, God dang, she's a doctor and her car looks like it. Yeah, that's true.
And we were like at Walmart last night looking for storage bins, and you don't want to hear what we were saying when we were buying them and testing them out.
Oh yeah, we 45 gallon bins that she wants to put in her van and put a bed over it. We've got these bins down, okay? True crime people. And she's saying, well, how much can I fit in here? How heavy is it going to be? Is it going to bend? Like, was people thinking we're taking bodies or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I said, what weight? I got to know. It's got to be the right length. It's got to be the right size. How much weight is it going to take?
That call was at 9:17 in the morning. He got to that house 9:17 in the morning. So just briefly after they called in that he didn't show up to work, it's just a common mistake. The guy went to the wrong place, is what I think.
Yeah, but another point to point out, Lana said about the time of the coworker or the friend that works at that place takes about an hour and so many minutes to get from A to B. How did she get there at 10 when it takes a certain amount of time?
Okay, these guys are fixing to talk about that.
Okay then. Yeah, I'm ahead of myself again.
Yeah.
I haven't even watched it. It's just
the
things
homicide
that
detectives are like, how did they know to go check on them? Who told them? Why are they there? Everybody that's there, I'd be investigating every one of them. How did you get here to check on them? Who sent you here? Just see why they showed up.
Yeah, because you never know. You can't trust anybody sometimes. I don't care if you're friends or not. These people were worried about the children.
Yeah, and Nona's saying they didn't say
If
anything about the
somebody
children.
had something to do with it, they're worried about the children being found.
They said was his wife. We can't reach his wife either, and she's a stay-at-home mom. She always answers. They're going to talk about it. Let me get back to this video so we can play it. The Kansas mom's case that I had for 3, I rescheduled it to 3:45. Until we get done with this, we're not going to do that. So let's go. You ready to go on with this?
And confirm that this is never at night as this person recording, because that makes no sense.
No.
And that's just another thing that I'm not saying that this neighbor did it. I'm not saying that they're involved at all. So this does not feel right.
Maybe it was a
file this.
See, this is guys, this is fascinating to me. Again, I just heard that. I read it earlier today and I put it in my notes and I read it. Never occurred to me to go back and speak to this guy, look at video.
I need to see other nights that you're not recording consistently every night.
Yeah, and that's why,
And if that's not the case, why then did it not record this one?
It could be, this could be a kiss cam moment. Maybe his girlfriend was sneaking out the door.
I need to get, I got to get tougher with my line of questioning with my kids. That's what I got to do. But all right. Let me go through back. The COE has a timeline here. Okay, so this is what we know happened, and I've got the 911 calls, and we're going to go through this all. Another amazing panel, but here we are. December 30th is the night of the murders. Between 2 and 5 a.m., that's when Spencer Monique Tepe shot at home in the Wineland Park area of Columbus, Ohio, which, by the way, from what I understand, used to be a very rough neighborhood. And someone emailed, and I don't know if it's true or not, that area of town is still run by a particular gang. I don't know what kind of, what kind of strength they have in numbers there at this point, but I did read that. 8 a.m., the Athens Dental Depot, which is like an hour and a half away, it opens. Spencer Tepe never shows up. He does not call. So that's at 8 a.m. Now at 9:03, an hour and 3 minutes later, Dr. Mark Valrose, the owner, you guys have heard that call, and we had the full call in a second, calls 911 to report Spencer not showing up. Now, people have said on the show, well, it's weird that it was a relatively, now we're seeing an hour and 3 minutes, but a relatively small window of time. And now this guy is very worried and he's calling 911. Some people say it was, they're curious about that. Others say nothing to see here. I don't know. At 9:10, the officers go to do a wellness check, but they are at the wrong house. 9:57, Alex Diddy, a friend, he goes to the Tepe home to conduct the wellness check. We have that full 911 call I'm going to play in a second. But Phil Ramos, to you, this section of the timeline, what stands out to you the most when you're looking at it?
The time frame. When Dr. Valrose called to ask for a check because he didn't show up, I'm wondering what the response from the call taker was, and did they send somebody out at that time? Apparently they did, because they went to the wrong address. And the other question I would have is, how wrong of an address did they go to? Were they 3 houses down? Were they next door? Were they on the wrong street? That could come into play as to why they didn't hear anything. Why they didn't hear the kids, if indeed the kids were up. We don't know that. And then there's going to be
SCS Nation. If you know through the FOIA that you guys saw, let us know how far off they were. If you happen to know, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, and when we first saw the video of the guy walking in the snow, do we know where in relation to the crime that was? Was he in the general area, or was he pretty close to the house, or just exactly where was that video from?
From what I understand, it's in the alley. They have the alleys behind the home, so it's basically right behind the home. And I've heard both sides of this, but the more prevalent one is that he was walking toward the home at this point, not away from the home, which is interesting. This is that video real quick. And I'm going to go back to this. Phil, there was an interesting comment, and then I'm going to get back to Darnell and Jeff, but there was an interesting comment posing the question, if you're this guy and you're in Columbus, you got to know you're on this video. And as far as we know, no one has come forward to say, hey, that was me. I was just walking through the alley. How important is it, I guess, that no one has come forward as far as we know?
Well, then, you'd have to ask the guy, why didn't you come forward? It could be something perfectly innocent, or it could be something nefarious that was unrelated to the murder. But still, if that's the murder suspect and he's leaving, he's doing it in a pretty calm way. The argument on that is, well, if you were at 3 a.m. running down an alley, you're going to draw more attention than if you're just walking through the alley in a casual stride and not drawing any attention to yourself.
Darnell.
Darnell,
I was just going to have you jump in there. Assuming this guy is walking to commit this double homicide, which is what people have told me, he's walking in the direction of the house.
Hold on. I screwed up. Hold on. My screen went away here. I think
As far as we know, this guy no one has come forward to police to say, hey, I'm that guy in that video. I was just at a bar. I was at a friend's house. No one has done that. Does that make you, I don't know, instinctually, do you feel more like this could be the suspect since no one has come forward to say it's not me? I'm not the killer.
I mean, you're investigating this. Your hope is that he knows something because you're investigating it. So that's the hope. The other part of it is, and I think, Bill kind of alluded to it too. You don't know what is going on, what's in his background. You know, if he's not the killer or a suspect in this, you know, maybe he's a suspect in something else. And so you don't know what his reasoning for not coming forward as an investigator. Yeah, you would hope that he knows something. You know, if he's not the suspect, he knows something. He saw something. He's going to say something. But again, you don't want to just get locked into this person and just say, "Oh yeah, this is our guy," because then you taint your ability to truly investigate it. But definitely, you know, you want to talk to him just to see if he knows something in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's curious that as far as we know, again, that person has not come forward. So does that make one think, you guys think, hey, it's more likely this guy could be the killer because now he's trying to hide, obviously. But Jeff Wenninger, this is the second part of the timeline, 10 a.m. And I'm reading this because we have a lot of people on audio that tune in. By the way, it's easy to do. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. We've got a very active Patreon page, and that's how we put out this awesome content day in and day out. 10 a.m. Female coworker calls 911, reports the boss never showed, and she believes something is wrong. 10:04 a.m. Alex Diddy, we have that full call. I'm going to play it in a second. Calls 911 and says there's a body inside. 10:05 a.m. PD come back and arrive at the right home this time, and they find Spencer and Monique Tepe inside with gunshot wounds, pronounced dead at the scene. Responders report the children, 4 and 1, as distressed but physically uninjured. Same with the dog. 10:11 a.m. Medic 7 personnel pronounce both victims deceased. Police department report no obvious signs of forced entry, no firearm or weapon recovered. That's very important because that's why they say this is a double homicide. No evidence of a struggle or robbery, or no robbery publicly reported. Jeff, on this set of slides or the timeline overall, what sticks out to you?
You know, the first thing that sticks out to me is the timeline of the 2 to 5 a.m. The fact that they narrowed it from midnight, and I think it was
Again, if you're off doing something, pay attention to this. I found this really interesting too.
9 a.m. They narrowed it to the 2 to 5. So I understand the 5 because he worked in Athens, which was about 75 miles away. They opened at 8 o'clock, so he would leave the residence typically at 5 a.m. I see the back end of that. But what do they know that places it at 2 a.m.? What occurred to lead them to believe that they were still alive prior to 2 a.m.? Because you would think if you have to get up at 5 a.m. to go to work, if you're anything like me, you're going to bed at 9. And
I mean, that's an amazing point. So, you know, speak to us. 2 to 5 has been the window of time we've heard.
So
How do you get there?
Yeah, how do you get there? It's like, you know, are they looking at the electrical communication data where they're able to confirm, or they've spoken to someone that corroborated the fact that one of them spoke to somebody at 2 a.m. or close? That would be odd in and of itself for them to be up at 2 a.m. And so I find that interesting. The other thing I got to say is I'm really impressed with the time of the calls and the response time. The first call, the unit, although they went to the wrong house, they were there within 7 minutes. We're the LAPD, so I mean, 7 minutes is really good. You know,
what is the response time for the LAPD?
Oh, it's I don't know, but not
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we might get, if it's a residential burglary, we'll get to you tomorrow. And we're not taking any prints. We don't have time for that. But then the next response, I think it was like 3 minutes or something like that, if I remember correctly from the timeline I just looked at. That's fast. So I once again I have to give kudos to the police department that, although this woman may have sounded a little curse in her communication with the people that were calling, guess what? She did her job and she did it well in breaking down that timeline. But those are the types of things that stick out to me. And I am.
Everyone's not in here.
Let me tell you, if I was late to work, there's no one's going to be interested until the afternoon. They're going to report that there's something going on with me. I do find it a little interesting that so soon they were wondering where he was. But he may have been that very diligent person that would make notifications if he was running late, because when you open, you have clients and, you know, so on and so forth. So, yeah, it's
As far as the mod comment, when people's come in here a couple times, I like to give people mod sticks, and if you have a channel, you can share it and all that. So, yeah, Zen Jin, if you're coming here a couple times, we welcome you, and you'll get a mod stick too.
the biggest thing is that 2 to 5. What is it about 2? What do they know that we don't know?
Phil Ramos, what about that? By the way, here's a question. I'm going to get right back to that. As a dispatcher, I thought that it was weird. So these 911 calls, particularly from the owner of the dental office who's calling from Florida, and I'm going to play it again in a minute. A lot of people are, I don't know what the right phrase is, not throwing shade at him, but asking questions about why are you let's just read the comment. The boss says, more concerning that she's not answering, meaning the wife. Well, why is that more concerning? I would have followed up with a question. That's not really a dispatcher's job, but there are questions. We're going to play that in a minute. And I totally forgot where I left. What was I going to ask? Phil, was I going to jump in there? You know what I was going to ask you? I think we all.
I don't know, but let me jump in on the dispatchers.
Please
and
do.
I have a mountain of respect for our dispatchers and call takers. I love them dearly. They are true first responders of first responders, and they do a great job under horrible circumstances, and the stress that they go through getting us the right information within seconds is unbelievable. So I don't think that the miscommunication on the address would have come from dispatch or the call taker. It may have been, maybe the address wasn't visible on the door where the first officer went to, or something like that. But when somebody starts picking on our dispatchers, I'm going to be the first one to defend them, because they have a mountain of responsibility and they get very little recognition for that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, one of them was definitely short and took a lot of heat for it. I just want to say publicly again, no one is implicating the owner of this dental office, but people are asking questions in the same way that, excuse me, Jeff was up late last night thinking about possible scenarios. But here's another thing. Darnell, this is interesting. Almost everybody has a baby monitor. Is this something that you need a search warrant to take with them? What's the scene like? This happened on December 30th. Today's January 8th. I assume the house is cordoned off. Are investigators going back in there looking for different things at different times, Darnell?
Absolutely. They're looking for everything and recovering everything. I want to go back to if I could, Joe, to the timeline for a second with the guys. It doesn't necessarily strike me as odd that. Did I hear you say that the owner of the dentistry was in Florida, called from Florida?
Correct. He was in Florida, and he calls, I guess, an hour and 3 minutes. There was some dispute about how much time there was, but he drives, Spencer Tepe drives about an hour and a half to Athens to the dental office. And in this case, he was over an hour late. And that's when the boss makes the first 911 call at like 9:03 a.m. saying, I need a wellness check on this guy. And some people are saying, well, why are you calling for a wellness check after an hour? And I have since learned doing the
I was muted from the get-go. From when this case came out, Dan had said he thought that the partner might have something to do with it. I remember you saying that, Dan. I get it.
Yeah, but do you remember the owner that was calling from Florida did say, has there been any reports of a car accident? Could he have been in a car accident?
No, no. That was the dispatch was asking that, I thought.
No, the owner said, what about a car accident or anything? Because his wife's not even answering the phone, and I'm worried more about her.
Well, they're fixing to play that call. We're fixing to hear it again. So
Okay, we'll hear it again.
Yeah.
The dentists are never late, and patients have to wait.
They're never late, and sometimes they have specific surgeries, maybe not major surgeries, but surgeries scheduled that would preclude them from being late. And they have to be in the office at certain times. Obviously, they're seeing patients. So that doesn't strike me as much as odd, because it's like, it may speak to also his diligence with being on time for work, and the fact that happened. I would agree more so with the idea of what Jeff is saying. The timeline is he gets up at 2 in the morning, or goes, if he has to get up and be up very early. So yeah, how we know that? To go back to the timeline, as far as the house, you're going to get any and everything that you can, and these guys can speak more specifically to it. Working homicide.
Stop that. Yeah, Brian. Journey is doing the van life, and she's going traveling. And right now, she's at Rock's house for a month. We got her locked in the basement. She can come out very little at a time, only to go out and look for tubs to put bodies in.
But I mean,
yes, I've run away from one basement to another.
I know, right? Right? I know. I had to throw that in there. I did.
My heart just, as I'm sure everybody's, goes out to these kids and the trauma that they are going to live with, due to being in whatever. If your parents, I mean, you are one of the 4-year-old.
Noel, and listen, we were talking about this the other day, and we had not seen this. But yeah, somebody said there's a key under the mat. So, Journey, that means that the guy didn't break any windows. He got the key out from under the mat and opened the door. Listen, do you guys not realize you should not put a key under the mat? Okay, ever.
What?
Place, yeah. I don't remember who released it, but they said there was a key under the mat.
Yeah, but that might be a rumor, not a fact right now, right?
I haven't seen any police say that. That's for sure.
No,
Nor have I
because
seen them say if the friends got it. We know that they saw him laying in there, but how did they get up that high? Like you said, to the second story window.
yeah, but listen, if you look at the pictures of the house, does anybody see a mat of any kind on the ground?
I think there was a front mat.
Yeah, but you should never do that. Now, if you want to give a key to somebody in emergency, who has a spare key in emergency?
Listen, I have a spare key outside, but it damn sure ain't under the mat. And you've got to know me or Rick to even be able to be told where that spare key is. And once you used it, guess what? It ain't gonna go back there. But I've got a keypad too. But if for some reason my keypad batteries go dead, or Smith at one time, he got a hold of the doorknob and ate our doorknob off. I'll have to bring them pictures out and show you. He literally bit the doorknob and smashed the doorknob, and it broke the lock. We couldn't get in. The keypad batteries come out. So I have a key out front so that if something happens with the batteries to my keypad, so I can still get in that door. But other than that, not one under the mat.
Okay, but if there is a key somewhere, then only certain people should know, right?
Even right now, I can tell you right now, Rick don't even know where the key is. He would probably call me and say, the batteries ain't working. I can't get in the house. And I'll say, well, guess what? I've got a key for you. You got to go here to get it. But yeah, you should not put it. If you're one of them people that keeps a key under your mat, bad idea. Even if you're going out of town and somebody's taking care of your animals, you need to put that key somewhere else. Do not put it under your mat, because then you're inviting anybody and their dog to open that door.
Yeah, because, if somebody wants to get in your house, a criminal or anything like that, they will search for a key, because they will. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, and my oldest daughter, she has a key also. But sometimes, and it's happened when the batteries come loose on the keypad. Believe me, I had my granddaughter and I was trying to fit through the doggy door. I couldn't. I got her through the doggy door, and then she was busy running around the house. She wouldn't unlock the damn door.
Okay. About the doggy door. Do they have a doggy door? Because if somebody can smoke and get in through a doggy door, if they really wanted to.
You seen how big my doggy door is? I can't get through that some bitch.
Well, I'm just asking, do they have a doggy door?
I didn't see one, and I did see some video of the back in there. Maybe it's when they were having their wedding reception out back, but I did look for a doggy door. I did not see a doggy door. So, okay, let's go.
So you can't find your parents for 10 minutes in the same house. It's traumatic. So, I mean, this is definitely, I mean, that's where my heart goes first and foremost to the kids, obviously the victims, but the kids as well, and the things they're going to have to endure. But yeah, you're going to get everything.
Yeah. And I mean, that's an excellent
You know,
point.
Phil, if
Yeah,
I
go
could
ahead, Jeff.
on this real quick. It does resonate with me that they're calling, asking for a wellness check that early. I understand the concern, but my concern would be, was he involved in a traffic collision? What route does he take? Do I want to get a hold of the Ohio State Patrol to find out if there's any major traffic collisions that he may be involved in stuff? I wouldn't be thinking a wellness check at home that something went wrong at home.
I mean, the thing that is more curious too, Jeff, is he mentions the wife several times, and to me, she's I think a stay-at-home mom with the background in childhood education. You know, moms are always running around. They're the busiest people you know. It was just curious that he's mentioning the wife, no pun intended, coupled together with the husband here.
Yeah, it's just once again, it doesn't mean that it's just something that you want to look into.
The dog was a Labradoodle, so a fairly big dog. A Labradoodle is fairly big.
Just raises the hair on the back of your neck. Just seems a little odd, and you want to look into it. That's all. You want to ask that question, and that's really it.
Yeah, Eroy here with the super chat. Ohio dispatcher requirements. Look at this. Best guest, better community. High school diploma or GED, 25 words per minute. I would not be hired. 40-hour EMD certificate. Let's not blame them. They should be getting more training. I mean, it's a problem all around with a lot of different jobs, but this one is very important. For the last time from JT Desert Dweller, if the office opens at 8 a.m., he would have been reporting at least by 7 or earlier. But do you know, Desert Dweller, that the office opens at 8? Do we know that for sure? I don't know. I think that's something that's easy to find out. But Detective, and thank you for that, and thank you for your passion. And don't hate me, hate them, hate the guests. And by the way, STS Singles chiming in saying Darnell is a great looking guy. Wenninger is a great looking guy. At least 2 of these dudes are married. I'll just say that, so you can decide who's who. But STS Singles, the calendar will be coming out at some point by 2027. Phil Ramos, this window here, back to Jeff Wenninger's question. Then I'm playing 3911 calls, but this window 2 to 5 a.m. In terms of investigating homicides, I think it's fair to say you probably have the most experience on this panel day in and day out. How do you determine that window?
Yeah, that's a good point. Jeff made a very good point. How do you narrow it down several hours to a 3-hour time frame? It's something that they are firm about, but whatever caused them to narrow it down, they haven't released that information. So it must be germane to the overall timeline. And, that's one of those holdback things that we talk about all the time. I would wonder, but those that are doing the investigation know why they did that. I'm surprised that the media hasn't picked up on that and asked away. And I'm sure that would be a can't give you that information at this time response.
By the way, this might be the best response comment ever from JT Desert Dweller. I know it opens at 8 because you said so on your timeline. Look, this looks like an easy job that I have here, sitting in a chair every day, hosting a show. But there are a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, and I might have missed that one, JT. I love the desert, by the way. So forgive me. A lot of information coming and going. And so again, wise. I really do rely. And by the way, public shout out to Vesper Martini, who helps us enormously behind the scenes and was doing so today. It does not go unnoticed. We really do have an absolutely amazing community. And there's a lot of new people here because the story's got a lot of traction. We host a live show on YouTube and on all audio platforms every night, 7 p.m. Eastern, with a panel of 3 guests. I like to say I'm the Larry King of true crime, minus his salary. And minus CNN, but you get the idea. And then on Fridays, 3 Fridays out of the month, the first 3 Fridays, my mother, who's in that photo behind me, she's a child Holocaust survivor. She joins me as my guest host, the oldest true crime podcaster in America. and she's going to be here tomorrow. And we're going to do this case tomorrow. We're going to look at the more personal side. My mother is a licensed marriage therapist, and I'm going to have her play the role of profiler tomorrow and have her kind of figure out who did this and why. And Carm will have an answer for us. So tune in for that. We also have a much lighter day on Fridays. And again, the show goes out on all audio platforms. Hit that like, hit the subscribe button, and once again, we've got a Patreon page now. Let me go. This is now the most recent news that there is. Apparently on December 19th, and I just want to go to my notes here. So I'm not, and I do take notes and I prepare for the show every single day, and I'm on the wrong page, which is why I'm not finding my notes. But this 911 call came in now on December 19th, 11 days before the murders. A neighbor makes this frantic call around 2:30 in the morning. Keep in mind, that's important because the window is 2 to 5 a.m. So someone makes a frantic call between that window at 2:30 a.m. saying that someone was banging on her front door and could not identify the person, and they left before officers arrived. This is that call.
It's knocking on my door. I think they're trying to get in. They're banging on my door.
Okay, someone's banging and knocking. Do you know who this is?
No.
Do you have a description of them?
No, I can't see any face downstairs.
Have you told them, have you asked them what they want or if they need something?
No.
All right, I've got to send up for someone banging and knocking on the door. If anything escalates or changes, give us a call back and let us know. We'll get officers there as soon as we can.
Darnell, you may have been on the beat the longest. I mean, you get a call like this. This is got to be a very average sort of common call, I imagine, that you get. What, as a police officer, what do you do with this? Someone says that there's a person banging on their door in the middle of the night.
I mean, you're going to respond to it. It's not going to be a lights and siren, but you'll get there as best you can get there, and get there as soon as you can, barring you're not tied up on another higher priority. But I mean, you get dispatched, you're sent to this, you respond, you approach with the lights off, and you try to find the person that's banging on the door, and you make contact. Because you realize that obviously, I mean, this is a homeowner. It's a female. We don't know who else is in the home with her. It's early in the morning, late at night. You realize that it's probably pretty terrifying for her. So you get there, you're going to try to respond, and you're going to respond covertly and see if you can catch that person, or approach the person to see what they're there for, what the purpose is, and make sure you can keep this person safe.
And listen, I know I get on a soapbox about this, but I really do have probably the most respect for law enforcement out of just about every profession. I guess maybe if you're doing, brain surgery and removing cancerous tumors from brains, that's up there. But every time these guys go out on a call, they don't know if their life's going to be on the line. So Darnell, I mean, my question related to that is this call, this is a very typical call, but now there's a murder a few days later. This guy could be the killer potentially. When you're responding to calls, especially in the middle of the night, is it always somewhere in your mind, this could be a really bad guy? I mean, I know this is a common call, someone just banging on a window, but this guy could be a really bad person. You always have to have that mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're prepping, you're thinking about how you're going to approach. Like I said, you're thinking about what this person is doing. Is this a domestic? Is this somebody trying to be in the house? Is this? I mean, you're right. It's a common thing, but it's something as an officer you're processing. All right, how are we going to approach? You're talking to your partner if you're riding in a two-person car, or you're communicating, you're getting there. If you're a single person car, you're getting on that scene, number one, and you're searching for the person, you're looking, and hopefully backup's coming as soon as they can, but you got to get there. You got to make sure this lady is safe. You got to plan how you're going to approach this. So absolutely. I mean, you're thinking about all kinds of things that could be, and you're thinking about other things that you've experienced, domestics or B&Es and that type of thing. So yeah, it's a common call, but it's still something that you're approaching with caution and concern and making sure that you're safe as well as the person that's calling.
Eroy here with a super chat. I'm going to toss this to Jeff Weninger. Great question. Apple, the company, not the food, is known to not cooperate with law enforcement. 70% of our population has an iPhone, which is unbelievable. As former law enforcement, how much would cooperation from the public help, I guess, with solving cases faster? I think that's the question. Or cooperation from Apple.
Well, it definitely slows it down. I mean, there's measures that you can take to get access to data in the phones, but it takes court orders and things like that. But so it's not as if you can't be retrievable, but it can take more time than perhaps it would if they were just willing to give this information over. So it's really an issue of the privacy and trying to balance all of that. They tend to be a little far on one side versus another.
I don't think they had a nanny. I don't think if that was Chef, she was stay-at-home mom, if that's what you're asking. Also, I just thought about this journey. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so the TV down there, is it not showing you the comments?
Oh, I don't have the TV on. I got my phone and my tablet on.
Oh, okay. Because I just got thinking that I shut the comments off the other night so I could see the pictures of the people. And maybe that's what you was asking earlier. But the reason I'm not running the comments on the side, you see how it will cut off them talking. And I'm really interested. I was really interested in what all these three guys had to say. And I want to see their facial expressions when they're saying them. But I wanted to make sure that if you did have the TV on, that you had turned back on the live comments. Okay. Back to this.
But it's not that it precludes you from getting it eventually. But the one thing that we got to make sure that we don't do is the person knocking on the door, in context to this homicide that occurred or these deaths that occurred. My thought is it the wife fleeing from a domestic incident, going to the neighbor? In that I'm not thinking that it's a man trying to gain access to home. Once again, we got to make sure that our unconscious biases, where we try to create a scenario in our own head, that we paint that and forget about potential other scenarios that could be the case. So that may have been the wife who became the victim, who was involved in a domestic, feared for whatever, and ran and didn't get any access. And then she ended up going back. And, what we do see with this couple's life is they appear to be very, very happy and things appear to be perfect. But that's not always the case. Appearances aren't always the reality. So that's something we have to consider. We can't allow our biases to believe that it's just some big black guy or Hispanic guy or white guy or bald guy or whatever our biases may be knocking on that door to gain access. We can't do that.
Yeah, I immediately went to the guy in the video. That's who I imagined. So that's a great.
Yeah, you can't necessarily do that. It may, it's very similar to the call from 8 months prior, and outside their residence. Now, listening to that call, it doesn't sound like the dialect that the wife would have. So I don't believe that necessarily was the wife. So I kind of eliminated that, but we can't rule things out. Once again, you really have to be conscious of not inadvertently ruling things out because of your personal biases.
Good point. Here's a question. Was there ever a press conference? There wasn't. It was just today. You heard it earlier. Darnell talking about how the chief spoke to one station in particular. Darnell, just to bounce back on this, and then I'm going to play the 911 call from the business owner, and we'll have Detective Ramos take a first crack at that. But Darnell, do they need to come out and hold a press conference and say, I don't know if they can say, hey, you're safe, because it sounds like maybe the public isn't safe, but do they need to reassure the public maybe tomorrow or Saturday?
Yeah. I mean, it from a perspective of media, the community, from all that, they need to hold again, this was one reporter, one station. That is which is a very odd thing. That does not happen. They need to come out and they need to hold a press conference and invite multiple stations there and say this:
Darnell,
we are
call her.
doing our best to investigate this crime as we are doing with any other homicide or crime that occurs in our city. We have narrowed down the time frame that it's happened, and as far as that, that's the only information we can give. If that's what they have, we know that they've stated that, they give that information. That's what they give. But you do it on a broader sense and not just with one individual journalist reporter. That's something that's very odd. And I want to jump back just really quickly.
That's something we don't know yet, Noel, but I guarantee they did. If they've got the phone call, then I'm sure they've spoke to that person. One thing about it is, anytime you use your address or even your cell phone to call 911, that never leaves their system. I saw a creator yesterday saying that, they don't have it. Bullshit. They have every time the police or even the fire department has ever been to your house and whenever you've used your cell phone, your particular cell phone. So like if I was to call right now and say, hey, my neighbors are fighting, blah, 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 they would have every time I've ever called 911 in their system. So
go back to Jeff's point, and I feel I'll let you get in, but I've been thinking this the whole time too. You never know what's going on in someone's household, and you said that too, Joel. I mean, they look like the perfect couple, but if any of us are married,
and let me say this too, when they went to that report of somebody knocking on the lady's door, they did a report, but the person was gone. So there's really not anything to talk to that lady about. She never saw him, and they wasn't able to catch anybody at that door. So what is there to talk to that lady about? She already said it on the 911 call, everything she had to say.
Nothing's perfect. It ain't nothing perfect. And so, I mean, it looks, or the investigation is, it's going to start with, it started with them, with the couple. I mean, we don't know if, and I don't want to speculate or speak, we don't know if there's financial issues, infidelity issues. We don't know any of that, but that is the heart of the start of this investigation that could lead to every and anything. You got so many variables in that, but I just want to put that out there for the public. I mean, we're looking at this, and your viewers are looking at this, and the perfect couple got murdered. We don't know what the perfect couple was like, because I don't know no perfect couples. I know couples whose business isn't out there because they keep it private.
No, anything could be possible. Anything could be possible. You're correct. Could something have happened and the neighbor have somebody after them and came and knocked on the door? I mean, we got to look at all possibilities. Is that possible? It's very possible. Very, very possible.
Until it gets public. And so I just caution people, keep that in mind. And that's going to be the biggest part of this investigation is looking into what's going on with them to determine how they lost their lives.
Darnell, I just want to go on the record as saying I have a perfect wife and
perfect
children.
Is she next to you? Is she right there?
All you have to do is go on Instagram and you will see. No, she's a few blocks away. But look at this from Adam Bluefire. How many times do we hear about unalivers or unalive victims being the perfect man, the perfect couple? Everything was fine. Many cases because people don't air their dirty laundry in public. 100%. You never look. I'm the son of a psychiatrist. I heard stories I was never supposed to hear. My mom and dad did family therapy, and the stuff that I heard, man. Whew. One day I'll do it. Maybe I'll bring some of that up with Carm tomorrow. She'll still have a heart attack, and some of these stories are 40 years old. But some interesting stories that I've heard over the years. This now is the owner of the dental facility clinic in
there, Brian.
Athens, Ohio, about an hour and a half drive. Again, he's about Spencer Tepe's about an hour, 3 minutes late. And this is the call. This is the longer version. I'll probably stop it and have all three gentlemen chime in at different points.
Police Tech 107.
Yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual at their home. Well, I'm currently in the state of Florida. I'm on vacation, but this individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
Okay. So
There's
you're
two
in
kids in the
Florida.
home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work. And
So he did just say 2 kids are at the home. Sure does.
I just want to put that out there for the public. I mean, we're looking at this, and your viewers are looking at this, and the perfect couple got murdered. We don't know what the perfect couple was like, because I don't know no perfect couples. I know couples whose business isn't out there because they keep it
Rick,
private
Rick.
until it gets public. And so I just caution people, keep that in mind, and that's going to be the biggest part of this investigation is looking into what's going on with them
All
to
the dirty
determine
laundry.
how they lost their life.
Gonna get all the dirty
Darnell, I just want to go on the record as saying I have a perfect wife and
Yeah,
perfect children, and all
if
you
she's
have
next to you,
an hour 3 minutes late, and this is the call. This is the longer version. I'll probably stop it and have all 3 gentlemen chime in at different points.
Police tech 107.
yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual at their home. Well, I'm currently in the state of Florida. I'm on vacation, but this individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
Okay. So
There's
you're
2
in
kids in the
Florida.
home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work, and he runs the office.
Did you receive information that he may have been involved in an accident or?
No, ma'am. I just.
Did you hear that, Journey? Did you hear that, Journey? It is the 911 operator asking if he's been involved in an accident.
Yeah, and I did hear him say what he didn't say was he's a doctor. He works at a dental office. You know, urgency. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody mentions that it was a dentist. Nobody.
No.
Crazy.
And he has patience. So if he has patience, it's very important that he gets to his job just like a doctor at a hospital. If a surgeon don't show up, if somebody don't show up, they want to know why.
Well, the other thing is a wellness check, okay? How do they know he was at home? What if him and his wife and the kids went to a hotel where the office is, because of the holidays and stuff?
Yeah, they could have been anywhere. They could have been anywhere, but it sounds like that guy, probably told him, no, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'll be at home,
Well, he sure knows a lot about the wife, and it is kind of weird. The owner, well, we can't get a hold of the wife. Like, do you talk to the wife every day? Like, how do you know what she does?
Well, yeah, I mean, unless they're really, really, really close, that he obviously has his wife's phone number because she's not answering neither.
Right. How often does he talk to this wife, though? I mean, listen, she's got 2 young kids at home. She can't always answer the phone. What do you mean?
Yeah, but
Answers the phone.
you never know if anybody gave him the wife's number to call as well. We don't know that.
No, I'm sure they all got each other's numbers. My point is, how often does this other guy talk to the wife? I'm just curious. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So
There's
you're
2
in
kids in the
Florida.
home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work, and he runs the office.
Did did you receive information that he may have been involved in an accident, or?
No, ma'am. I just know that he is the most, like, he is always on time, and he would contact us if there was any issues whatsoever. And I just don't know how else to say this. Like, we're very, very concerned because this is very out of character. And we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concerning thing.
Okay, we will send somebody over as soon as we have an officer available, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
That's the full call, and I could replay parts. I mean, Phil Ramos, I'm going to give you the first
Did he
crack
say-
at this. At the very end, he says,
Was he saying something?
Did he say that they can't get a hold of the wife and that's more concerning, or I can't get a hold of the wife? It's
He's
more
not-
concerning.
I think he said they because of the office. We can play it again. Let me
So
go
he
back.
may not have called the wife. They called the wife. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just saying, how does he know that she always answers? How does he know what she's doing?
Well, I think because of the morning and they got kids that they assumed they're up. That's all.
Stay-at-home mom is not always right by her phone. They got a harder job than probably the dentist.
Yeah.
That's my
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
Involved in an accident, or?
No, ma'am. I just know that he is the most, like, he is always on time, and he would contact us if there was any issues whatsoever. And I just don't know how else to say this. Like, we're very, very concerned because this is very out of character. And we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concerning thing.
Okay, we will send somebody over as soon as we have an officer available, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
that's the full call, and I could replay parts. I mean, Phil Ramos, I'm going to give you the first crack at this. At the very end, he says, and again, he says, and we can't get a hold of the wife. That's the more concerning thing. And that's almost a direct quote there. Strikes me as a little unusual, but what stands out to you in this 911 call? And again, I am not pointing the finger. There's a million reasons this guy could be responding for a million different reasons. And it came up on the show last night that maybe he was privy to something that we don't know about that was going on at the house, some situation that maybe triggered his alert system earlier on. And that's why he called rather quickly. But what stands out?
Yeah, that's a good point. But, it all depends on a person's habits. If you know somebody well enough that they carry, my wife takes the phone into the bathroom with her. She doesn't leave it anywhere. So if she doesn't answer, there's a reason why she's not answering. And she'll text me, can't answer right now, call me back, blah, 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 whatever. But if they know the wife well enough that she's never going to miss a phone call, then that could be why the concern is there. A doctor, he could be preoccupied with something, and Dennis is busy drilling somebody's tooth out if he was at work, but nothing in particular jumps out at that. I think he could have been a little more informative during the first part of that phone call, because you could hear the pause from the dispatcher thinking, well, hey, give me some more information, right? I mean, why are you worried about him? Then, clearly, if he would have said, well, he's a dentist and I'm a dentist, we have a very important practice, and for him not to be here is completely out of character. I'm sure there's something wrong. So I think the first phase of the request for a wellness check or a welfare check could have been articulated a little bit better on their part, so that the sense of urgency that they thought that they were conveying to the dispatcher wasn't getting to the dispatcher. So to the dispatcher, it's like, well, what's so unusual that you're worried about it? Not that would have changed anything. They were already dead in there, but it would have gotten the cops there sooner. And would that have been an advantage? Possibly, but there's also, the fact that they were already dead, and whatever they were looking for at that time wouldn't have delayed anything, 20 minutes later when they got to the correct address.
Look at this. We've got detectives here working every angle. We've narrowed it down to Jeff being the single one. Ladies, take note. I am married. How did you come to that conclusion? But what about you, speaking of Jeff? Is that a routine 911 call that you hear all the time? What stands out? this is basically what we had the first time around. I think the other one is going to be a little bit longer, but what say you?
Well, I think I mentioned it earlier that the initial thing is we want a welfare check. The thought that something's wrong at the house. My first instinct was that he probably left. Maybe he's caught in traffic because there's an accident. Perhaps he's in an accident. And I also have to assume that the people that first became aware that there was a problem with him was the people at his work. So who notified the family members or the friends locally? So they went to the house and did their own welfare check. It seems to me there's a real close-knit group of the people that are employed at this dental facility and his group of friends that he associates with in Columbus, because they must have been the ones that notified them that, hey, something's wrong. Can you go to the house? Because where else, why would have they gone to the house to check? And then I think to myself, there has to be a certain level of familiarity. And I was surprised actually that this gentleman spoke as if he was so well versed with this couple. I was surprised he didn't call the wife. He kept saying the wife. I'm surprised he didn't call her by her name. That I was waiting for him to do that.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like he should have that level of relationship if he's that concerned. Because to be that concerned, you'd have to know enough about them for this to be like, yeah, but she's not answering. You know, how often are you calling her? How many times has this happened? Did you see what I'm saying? So these are all the types of questions as an investigator I'm thinking about when I sit down, and I'm not going to ask a question, that I haven't already prepared. When I sit down with my partner to interview this guy, there's all kinds of questions based just on this 911 call that I'm going to have to flush out.
Wow. From Gene here, could the friends have taken the gun to save their reputations before the police came back? In other words, to save the couple's reputations, if it was potentially a murder-suicide, who knows? I mean, there's a million possibilities. Huge shout out to Judy Herbert, gifting another 5 memberships. Very, very generous. We appreciate that. This is the next 911 call from this. This is now the friend at the end here before the police arrive a second time. And then I'll have Darnell and Phil take a crack at this one on the back end of this. Here we go. This is a friend named Alex Diddy.
What's the location of your emergency? Okay, what's the emergency there? Police or medical?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of doing the
We already
wellness.
had a call out there.
Hey, this is really interesting too. It's going to be these calls, and I don't see where he says he's in the house, but like Journey said, their master bedroom's on the 2nd floor. This guy says he can see the dentist on the floor in a pool of blood. How does he see that?
Knocked on the front door and back door multiple times, and there was no answer.
Yeah, no answer. I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to break the door in or just get in the house or what. So.
Okay, were you out there when the police was out there?
I wasn't. I just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll send them back out to you.
Okay, thanks.
911. What's the location of your emergency? We've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get you on the line.
So that's about halfway through. This is now the same guy. Darnell, this guy sees a body, and it sounds pretty genuine that he's pretty freaked out here. This is a friend. What about this call? I mean, this, obviously a horrific circumstance, but a fairly...
I thought the very first call was from the office and it was from the ladies. I did. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but what I find a little strange is nobody mentions their name, calls them by their first name, and then that guy says, there's a body. I mean, it's really strange, their language.
Right. And he's not saying, well...
It's nothing personal. They're not saying, oh, my God, my friend Spencer, I can see his body, or Monique, or Nobody mentions their names.
No, they don't. And I think this guy sounds genuine. He's genuinely upset. Something's going on there. And you're right. If they're so close, they know him by first name. They're not just calling him Doc. You know, why is he not even bringing up any names? I get it. Okay, here we go.
I think a fairly routine call in terms of this sort of call.
You know, and help me out, Joe, or anybody, fellas. How did he get involved? Let's start. How did he get involved from the dentist's office? The dentist calling to. Is there a connection? How did Alex Diddy get involved in the first place to even go and do this check on them?
I don't think correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think anyone has the exact answer here. And there was an other person who said that she was en route, but wasn't quite there yet. I think it's a tight knit group of friends that started to call each other. That is my guess. That's my best guess.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
great question though.
Yeah, it's realizing we don't know everything, Joel. That's why we're here. You know, for that purpose to kind of dissect this. But you know, you can't rule anything out, but it sounds pretty genuine in the fact that, I mean, he's concerned. He goes and he checks and he finds what has traumatized him obviously.
I think you're right.
If I can go back, if it's okay, Joel, to go back for me just a little bit to the dentist call. I'm a little different in my perception. Not as I'm a skeptical cop and I'm jaded, but not maybe as much as the other guys. No, I'm not saying that, fellas. But you know, I got genuine concern from the dentist. I got his pauses. His you know, this is a guy who shows up, who's there on time, who keeps him in the loop. He's out of town. He's the owner of this practice. You know, typically, I mean, maybe I spend too much time at the dentist, fellas. Maybe that's what it is. Because I'll admit this publicly. Okay, everybody, I actually love going to the dentist just to get my teeth clean. That's it. It's a freaky thing. It's the thing I got. I love going to get my teeth clean. That's it.
My dentist would love you. I hide from my dentist.
I absolutely love going to get my teeth clean because as long as it's fine, it's good. I go every 6 months. Hey, it's cool. So maybe I spend too much time at the dentist's office, but I got genuine concern from this guy. I got bewilderment, and I got you know, man, I don't know. Like this is not his character. This is not something that happens. You know, a wellness check. Yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. That's odd. You know, but to say wellness check, maybe that's just his vernacular. I got that. You know, that this is something that really threw him off. And he's like, I'm out of town. He's supposed to cover for me. He doesn't do this. This does not happen. So we need to figure out what's going on, you know. And the wife, you know, and my process is she's a stay-at-home mom. We have a relationship. I don't know how long. And so maybe he tried to call the wife. Someone tried to call the wife too. She didn't answer. She's a stay-at-home mom. She should be home with the kids who are 4 and 1. They may not be in preschool, or they may, but the one-year-old's not in preschool, most likely. So that's kind of, I'm also a parent of a 5 and a 6 and a 4-year-old. So, you know, and my wife stays home. So those are things that I kind of process. As far as this call, I mean, you know, Alex Diddy, he's traumatized because he just saw something that he never wanted to see and will never unsee. But yeah, that's kind of my perception of the call of the owner, you know, the owner of the facility.
Yeah, and that's I mean, and I think these are all great observations. Look, it first came up a few nights ago because we have investigators. Investigators are somewhat jaded and have seen it all and are questioning everything, which I think is important. I don't think anyone is pointing the finger right now at the dental owner, but from Matt Breff, friend of mine, friend of the show, great job, STS. Was there no?
Well, you need to ask our buddy Dan. Dan has some ideas.
Ring cameras at their front or back door. Hard to believe that these days. I know police are asking for ring cameras. I don't know per se if they got it from this specific home. But I will play the rest of this call here. Why is everyone going to their home? Why do they think they'd be at home? I guess these are questions you need to ask. And we can follow that up with Phil Ramos. Let's play this out, though, first.
Line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
All right. I mean, that's what's going on there.
There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here, and he appears dead.
Okay.
There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that.
Okay. So you can tell he's obviously not breathing or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it like kind of like huddle, like, you know, does he look like?
It doesn't look puddled. I can't look.
Okay. All right. Understand. Okay. And then when was the last time somebody spoke to him?
Yesterday, I suppose.
Yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
How old is he?
37.
37. Okay. Is he like a drug user or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. Just that's a really young age.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. All right. We're on our way.
It is. I mean, to me, it's just interesting, just sociologically. If you're in New Jersey or New York, the first thing anyone says, "Oh, he's a dentist. He's the best dentist in Manhattan." But here, no one has mentioned that he's a dentist at any point. Even this last guy never says. I mean, it's not. That's maybe from the business owner was important. But thank you to Jen and Ken gifting 10 memberships. Thank you so much. Phil Ramos. I mean, to me, what do I know? But that guy seemed genuinely, thrown off, devastated, shocked, whatever adjective you want to use at the sight of seeing his friend's body lying there. And I do believe he was looking through a glass window. He was not in the house, as far as I know. He's looking through a window and just kind of peering in. And now we know why police didn't see that, because police were at the wrong house originally. But how did that call to sound to you? Then we're going to just show that video real quick. The Walking Man will get some final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, that sounded like a genuine call, but I keep going back to the why. We talked about this a couple nights ago. There's a deep, dark secret buried in here, and they need to find out what that is, because so they know a lot about each other. That could be because the office is close and there's not that many employees, and they hang out and go out dancing and drinking Friday night and carrying on and having a good time. But the familiarity that they each have with each other is, on one hand, not unusual, but on the other hand, it could be, depending on what is going on in that background. We've been saying this all night. You just never know what's under the surface, and that's going to come out in this case. I'm certain of it, that they're going to get to something ugly that people don't want to know about.
Hey, Stacy.
That is interesting and haunting, and you almost sounded like Keith Morrison there, but I get the idea. Gia and TJ mom here, because the husband was shot. Jeff, I'll let you, you talked about this early on, but because the husband was shot more times, would you look at him being the target? And then this one we already read, COE. I'm bringing this one up here. So him being shot, do you see him as the target? And also, would they check Monique's hands for gunshot residue?
Well, first with the target, the fact that he was shot more than once, the fact that generally a perpetrator would perceive the male to be the greatest threat to them. They generally want to neutralize that person first. So yeah, I would tend to believe that for whatever reason, he was the initial target. Whether, we don't know if he was killed essentially in his sleep either. Really, we don't know these sorts of things, because the caller said that he was, partially on the bed and partially off the bed. The one thing I was trying to listen for was things that I've read where there's been discrepancies in 911 calls of, I believe this particular individual, where they said that I couldn't see, I didn't go any further than the hallway, which would indicate that he had entered the residence versus looked in through a window. But I didn't hear anything like that. I didn't hear him say anything like that. So that may be completely erroneous information that's out there, that's getting printed. But yeah, he seemed very genuine. it's all very perplexing. I mean, I tend to agree with Phil. I think when this is finally solved, that it's going to be pretty salacious.
Phil Ramos, I mean, there was just 2 comments up. You know, did police check to make sure that the cars were there? Also, did police find out what they were doing the day before on the, you know, the 29th into the 30th? How important are these things? Sort of not just the timeline from the start of the crime, but going back. How far back do you go with the timeline?
As far back as you can. I mean, yeah, these things are absolutely critical. The vehicles are important. Their activities the day before, the night before, you know, she would have confided in somebody if there was something going on. He may have confided in someone that there was a problem, but by all accounts, so far there wasn't. You know, as far as we know, they were, you know, they were doing a pretty good job of being a happy couple. But you got to put that asterisk after that, man, because you know, every perfect couple is not perfect. So, like, you know, like we're saying, it's going to come out. But yeah, that's you know, investigation 101. Where are the cars? Where were they doing? What did they go to dinner the night before? Were the kids left with the babysitter for a long time? So all that kind of stuff is going to be covered in those first few hours of the investigation.
Becky saying, you all know they closed the dentist's office for the rest of the week. They're a very tight-knit family. From Athens Dental Depot, this is a statement they put out 2 days later on the 1st. It is with the heavy hearts that we share the sudden passing of our dear colleague and friend, Dr. Spencer Tepe, as well as his wife, Monique. He will be deeply missed by our team and the many patients he cared for over the years. Our thoughts and sincerest condolences are with their families and loved ones during this very difficult time. And it goes on with gratitude, Dr. Mark Valros and the Dental Depot team. So there is the statement from Dental Depot. If you don't know him, now you know him. Darnell Z. Blackburn, former Auburn Hills PD, and he does analysis for the local NBC station in Detroit. He knows the current Columbus, Ohio police chief. We do have the best guests in all of true crime. Darnell, I'm just going to put this up while you're talking here. I don't think we actually have the video, but we've got this image. This is, I think we do have the video, but this is the image of this man. Has been dubbed Walking Man, which is actually taken from, here's the video right here. There's a case that's never been solved out of Toronto. Shout out to our Canadian friends, and we have a lot of them. The Barry and Honey Sherman case. If you don't know that case, Google it. It's wild. It's never been solved. He was a billionaire in generic pharmaceuticals, and he and his wife were murdered. And there's a video of a guy with a weird gait, and that's the only thing they've ever really gleaned that we know of publicly in that case. It's never been solved. But Darnell, with all that said, you look at this Walking Man. What, if anything, do you see? And your final thoughts here?
For me, it's just the hope that he comes forward because he knows something. You know, if he's not the suspect, he knows something or can at least give something, you know, not that because he's in the area, he can come forward and just say something, give information for them to help solve the case. So that's the hope. Overall, I agree with these guys. Whatever this is, when this comes out, it's going to be something that'll be jaw-dropping for everyone, because once those layers are peeled back, it's definitely going to show something that is beyond what we could have thought about. So, you know, we pray for the children and the families and wish the best for them and their families. But definitely going to be a tough case to crack, and as it's shown, and we want to get it resolved.
By the way, you guys know I always try to inject a little bit of humor. My mom's a child survivor, and she got through it with humor. But they opened up, Darnell, right down the road from me. I think it is a franchise. It is a dentist office, and it is called Drill. Looks nice. Beautiful shade of green, but the name of the practice is Drill. I know you love the dentist, but
that's not a place that I'm going. No,
Yeah,
I don't love it that much, my man. No,
that might be the worst branding I've ever seen in my life. I avoid it like very sad story, but my beloved Mabel Rose, 17-year-old puzzle.
Drill, baby, drill.
She passed away before we put her to sleep,
That's
and
crazy,
that was
yeah.
her vet office before it turned to drill. So I doubly hate drill, but I hate what a bad
Trump
name.
supporter.
Anyway, I digress. McGruff here. I am curious that he worked
Make it
1
political.
hour north of Columbus and then another hour south in Athens with 2 babies. Maybe just great jobs. I live in Cleveland, Akron, and neither is close to Columbus. Both areas, similar issues. If you don't know Jeff Weninger, he's a retired lieutenant with the LAPD.
Calm down,
and,
Brian.
he's the author of On Thin Ice, a book about reimagining policing. He was the boss. He was a beat cop. I did a video with him. I'm going to do one with Darnell.
I do, Zen. I do believe that this police department probably knows who did this and what happened. I really do. I think they got a good police department. I think it was just an error in showing up at the wrong place. No, I think they're a good police department. And I think these 3 guys that analyzed this with Joel were awesome. What do you think, Journey?
Yeah. Well, you know, they're used to high crime. There's a high crime rate over there. This is nothing new. They probably had this
Not their first
situation
case.
before.
Yeah, it's not their first case.
No. So there's a lot of crime that happens there, like everywhere. I was thinking of that guy walking in the video. You know, maybe he's been in trouble before and don't want to get involved. No contact police. Maybe he's on probation. Maybe he's scared because it wasn't him, but he knows it's him.
Let me tell you something, and this is true. Okay, so my neighbor next door, she no longer lives there, but she was an EMT paramedic, and the guy had taken a bunch of K2, fought with people, stabbed somebody. You know, for 3 years, my neighbor had to show up to court for it to get continued. Same thing with my daughter. They have cameras on their house. Out in front of their house is a school. A couple showed up to school in an Uber, and as the kids got out and went in, the wife got out and started running. The husband got out of the Uber, shot the wife. All of this was on my daughter's cameras, okay? So, of course, we have a friend that's a homicide detective, and he said, hey, does your daughter have cameras? I said, she does. Well, he went and got cameras. It finally ended last month, but she had to, not only did she have twins, she couldn't leave the twins. She had to leave the twins to show up to court for it to get continued. So when you involve yourself in a case like this, it's never ending. Okay.
No.
And also a lot of people don't watch news. So this guy might not have saw it, but he might have saw it and said, oh, fuck that. You know, they're going to have to come to me and talk to me. Otherwise, I'm not even letting them know that was me.
That's right.
I don't
And
want
people, and some people don't like cops or anything. So just period.
guilty means he just don't want fucking involved. He don't want to have to show up to court every time they have court for it to get continued and all that. No,
Hmm.
I could see that happening. 1000%.
But I think, in my opinion, they're going to find him. In my opinion.
Stacey, I don't know that the guy in the picture is covering his face to not be seen. I mean, it's not. It was 21 degrees. It felt like 9 with the wind chill factor.
Yeah.
So I would have my face down too. I wouldn't want it to get freezer burn, you know, type of thing. So I get it. We're gonna finish the end of this. It's almost over, and I've got like an 8-minute one, and I do have live coming up for the Kansas Moms case. Stacey, you asked. The 4 brothers are not going live tonight because of the Indiana game, and also the nephew has a wrestling tournament in the morning, and they're changing their little area around and doing different things for the channel. So maybe Sunday, Stacey. I'll keep you updated. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Journey, was you saying something else?
No, I was just saying about that guy. You know, it could be all innocent, but I'm sure walking around at that time, whatever time it was, they said he was walking around.
Well, it wasn't from 2 to 5 in the morning. It's light out.
Right. I don't know what time this guy was walking past the house, right?
Well,
We
if
don't
they're
know
saying
that,
it
right?
wasn't from 2 to 5, it's light out. It wasn't 2 in the morning to 5.
No, what they're saying is that's probably when that happened, but I don't know when this guy was actually walking at this particular video.
But it's sunlight out, so it wasn't in the middle of the morning.
So maybe he was going to catch a bus to work. I don't know. People catch buses to work. They
I'm
have
just
to
saying
walk
if
blocks.
everybody's saying, and I'm just having you look at it a different way. If everybody's saying that he's somebody of interest, okay, but you're saying you pinpointed it from 2 to 5 in the morning. This is not 2 to 5 in the morning. It's fucking light out.
Right. So he may have just, like I said, had to walk a couple of blocks to catch a bus, you know.
Right. But again, it's not in the time frame that they say they were unalived, because it would be pitch dark 2 to 5 in the morning. That's my point.
Well, it might not look that dark because there's snow on the ground.
No, it's dark. It's dark.
It's dark, so
We
it's
saw the video like 20 times. There's no way that was in the middle of the night. Yeah.
it's dark. You said it's dark.
Not only that, I think it's the neighbor that don't film at night. I think it's his fucking camera, and we know he don't film at night.
Oh well, that person's going to be on their list as suspicious.
I find it suspicious too. And yes, I saw your comment, Brian. It's sus to us. I love Drip Drop. I love him too.
And we love your thoughts and your opinions.
Oh, absolutely. And welcome to the crew, Zen. Glad to have you. Again, listen, I'm not trying to grow this channel big. I like having a small channel. You know, I can get to everybody's comments. We don't have drama. Listen, I like being a small channel. I really do. It seems more friendly. Okay, so I'm going to finish this. And then I got one. Listen, I'm not a Jennifer Coffendogger person. You know, she's from Wichita, Kansas. Her husband's from Derby, Kansas. But I'm not a fan of hers. But there's one on Court TV that I want to play. It's only like 8 minutes, and then we'll be done.
For the next time we're away. But Jeff got caught in a brutal shootout, and that sort of changed some of his perspective on shooting. And that video
And listen,
is under
I
the
don't
video
want
tab.
to say that Journey's wrong, because she could be very right. Okay, but my point is, it looks light to me. She's saying the snow can make it look lighter. It could. I don't know. I know they had really cold weather. You can see his shadow, but could that be from the street lights? I mean, he's supposedly in this alley here. I don't know how well lit the alley is either. We just don't know. It's possible.
I know I've asked you before, Jeff. Any other thoughts on this Walking Man video and your final thoughts here?
No, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't conclude that necessarily this is actually a suspect. I would hope that, or I would think that whoever that individual is, there's been enough public access to this video that he would be aware of it, and that if he knows it's him, that he would come forward. But I can't say that I'm 100% confident that we find out who this is, that we're going to be able to solve this crime. You know, the last comment relative to the distance that he traveled to work. Now, I live in Ohio now, and it is peculiar for people to live that far from work. Generally speaking, in California, it wasn't. You know, I lived about 45 miles from downtown LA when I was working out of police headquarters, and it could take me 2 hours to get home, and then, you know, an hour and 15 to get to work because of the traffic. And I actually moved in closer. I moved to Pasadena so I could shorten my commute. Why? Because I had a young child, and no parent, you'll do anything you can to buy that extra 15, 20, 30 minutes you can to spend with that child every day. Because I would go to work, and when he's still sleeping, and I'd come home and he was already in bed. So I do find it a little peculiar where you have a stay-at-home mother where you're going to be working those long days as a dentist, as well as having that long commute. Athens is the home of Ohio University, which is a nice college town, and you know, that in and of itself can provide a great environment to raise your family. And I grew up in a college town in Kent, Ohio, where Kent State is. My father was a professor there, so that is, I did find that a little
Very,
odd.
very sad.
But I don't think it has anything to do with this case. You know, I just,
no, Brian, you're
part of the
great.
reason that I lay up at night
You're not driving me
is
nuts.
I find this case to be very tragic and unbelievably sad, not only for the victims, but their children and all of the people that have been left behind to have to deal with this. I just really hope for a quick and rapid resolution to this, but that it's done in a proper way. So whoever's ultimately responsible will be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, and that's what these police agencies are great at, is getting ready for the trial that will likely come as a result of an impending arrest. Next guest, another legendary homicide detective. He and Phil Waters on the Mount Rushmore of homicide detectives. Detective Phil Ramos, born in
I don't feel like that video is at night. I can see a shadow too, which could be from the lights. You got to realize they was having some winter storms, cloudy out, but I don't think it was at night. I really don't. It'd be interesting if you guys got to connect to Lana, tell her to get her boots on the ground and go film it at night. We want to see what that alleyway looks like at night. I think it's pretty dark. I really do. I think that video is not at night, but you know, infrared with cameras, it can make it look, you know, you got black and white. Sometimes it's hard to tell between dark and light. So that's just my opinion.
Red, native of Las Vegas, 3-time Officer of the Year. The guy still rides his Harley. He's got a ponytail that he hides back there.
Oh yeah, he's got a ponytail.
Native American descent, homicide detective, infiltrating the Cuban mob. Is there a cooler dude alive? One day I want to be Phil Ramos. Phil Ramos is that man that we saw here. Is this the killer? And what's your not there here? Is this the killer? Do you think? What's your gut tell you? Your final thoughts?
Not enough info, man. It could very well could be, but
full moon,
it may just be somebody going for a stroll, leaving a place he shouldn't have been. You know, it's hard to say. There's just not enough info. I think by now, the investigators will have narrowed that down if he's truly a person of interest. But they're going to keep that close so that they get a little more information. My fingers are crossed, but you know, I think we all concur that there's going to be something ugly come out in the middle of this, and that'll give us an idea of why it happened.
Another amazing panel. I'm already working Monday. We've reached out to our friend and the literal living legend. She was denoted a living legend, Dr. Ann Burgess, who helped form literally the science of criminal profiling. She's trying to get her on Monday with a former colleague of hers, Greg McCrary, who is straight out of Central Casting, one of my favorites too. He entered the FBI in 1969, and he has chased serial killers all around the world. He's a bad dude, and I mean that in a good way. And he also profiles. So maybe they have some thoughts about who this is and why they did it. That's what those guys do. They whole careers essentially studying and profiling killers. So if Ann's able to make it, we'll bring you that Monday, but we'll be on this again. And tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, Carm, the matriarch of the show, right there with the explicit language sticker over her mouth that she hates. She'll be here. She never curses on it.
I'm going to stop that. We're going to go to this last one. Please, there is the link. At least go give this video a like. I appreciate being able to play it. I thought it was a very, very good video. Very good video. But please go over and give it a like. Now I've got an itch in my throat. I got one more, and it was from Court TV today. We'll just go through it pretty quick. It's about 8 minutes long. Again, I'm not a Coffin Dogger fan, so ugh. But anyway. Here we go. Let me share this link too. Alrighty. Let's get it.
I want to take you to our top story happening in Columbus, Ohio. The chief of police speaking out about the mysterious shooting deaths of Ohio dentist Spencer Teppy and his wife, Monique. Chief Elaine Bryant says that they're working to answer the community's questions, but some details just have to stay under wraps in order to protect the integrity of the case. She spoke with Columbus station WSYX and says, quote, "We know that there are a lot of concerns and a lot of questions surrounding this case, and we want to be able to be as transparent and answer as many of them as we can. Unfortunately, there are some things that we can't talk about for the integrity of the investigation," end quote. She says they've received numerous tips about a person of interest seen in this surveillance footage here. No arrests have been made. The Teppys shot inside of their home on December the 30th. Their 2 young children, a 4-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son, and a golden doodle named Larry were all left unharmed. Let's talk about this case. I've got two great guests standing by. I want to bring them in now, see what they think. Retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindaffer is with us, and so is retired NYPD detective and the host of the Gold Shield Show, Tom Smith. Good morning to you both. Jen, I want to start with you, if I may, please. Your thoughts on something that was reported by Fox Digital. I know you've heard about this. A neighbor reporting a 911 call 11 days before.
I don't know if it's a bad idea to be silent this long. I think they're zooming in on certain people. Plus, they had to wait. I mean, what about the bullets? You know, they got to wait for the bullets to be pulled out. There's things to be done. So I don't think they're dragging their feet too much, but that's me.
The murder. So here it is. 11 days before an Ohio dentist and his wife were killed, a woman who lives down the street called 911. It was around 2:30 a.m. to report somebody banging on her door who just wouldn't leave. Fox News Digital again obtained a 911 call placed on December the 19th to corroborate this. This is at a resident located just down their street. A woman reported that someone was banging and knocking on her door at 2:31 a.m.
I don't think
Jen,
the guy
your
in
thoughts?
the video has anything to do with it, but that's me.
Well, first of all, definitely law enforcement has to look into this situation. However, this is not the same modus operandi that we see here with somebody easily able to access the house of the Teppes. Further, I think what's important is that area that these houses are located in. It's really surrounded by some of the worst areas that exist in Columbus. So it does make sense to some degree that you might have people leaving bars and so on and so forth that would be, you know, acting erratic like this. Not saying it's not connected, but it doesn't seem to be connected on first blush.
Yeah, I appreciate your insight, Jen. I have a clip from Rob Misley, who is Spencer Teppe's brother-in-law. He's caring for the children right now, and he spoke to our affiliate and said that he does not believe this is random. Let's take a listen.
It just seems like it was not a random act where somebody broke in and this, you know, trying to steal stuff. Like, it seems a lot more intentional than that.
Personal,
yes. Just unbelievably disgusting that somebody could do something so evil.
Tom, what do you say? Does it seem personal in your professional opinion?
Oh, 100%. This was a targeted murder, without a doubt, because of just all the factors that we've laid out over the past couple of weeks of, you know, no forced entry, where they were killed in their house, the children being, you know, not.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go out on a limb. What if, because we just watched Surviving the Survivor with Joel and them, okay? Somewhere they got evidence or was told that this same brother-in-law left that house pissed off over financial reasons. And now he's taking care of these kids. What if something happened to these two, the mom and dad, that this guy gets the kids and all their assets and everything? I don't know, guys. It's just it's a thought. Because he's got the kids. The other guy said that he was seen leaving the house pissed off over financial things. I don't know. Kind of crazy.
Harmed and the dog. Someone seeming to know the layout of the neighborhood and the house and the timing of it as well. I truly believe this was someone.
Tell me this. Okay. If they're all so close knit and all that, why didn't somebody call the brother-in-law that obviously lives there, right? I mean, what did the brother-in-law and the sister ever show up to the house after these two were found unalived? I don't know, but I bet they would know how to get in the house. I bet they know the key code, right? I don't know. It's just a thought. I just thought of it.
When they knew from either the past or something presently happened to set this horrible set of circumstances in motion.
Yes, Tom. Jen, I want to go through some details about the case for anybody maybe just hearing about it. I'm getting a lot of people.
Because the other channel said that the brother-in-law, which this guy's married to the dentist's sister, that he left prior to this happening. Don't know the exact date, but he left pissed off from their house for financial reasons. What's going on there? And where did they get that information? Hopefully they dig into that more.
Yeah, but who said that?
They said it on Joel's channel. Joel said it. But I don't know if you guys could see, because I tried not to put a lot on the screen. There was a lot of local people in that channel.
Yeah, but on Court TV about 2 hours ago, they said the brother-in-law speaks out on murders.
The
I
brother,
don't know if that's something new or not.
sometimes it's the listen. They want to be close to the investigation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
where did Joel get it that brother-in-law left the house pissed off over financial reasons? Because they sure did say it. He got
Right.
it somewhere. He got it from somewhere. Did one of his producers talk to somebody? If I was the detectives, or if I was Joel, I'd be calling them and saying, "Hey, this person told me that the brother-in-law left there pissed off over financial reasons. They got to investigate it. That's something."
We know that anybody close to the family are to be questioned no matter what.
Also, we also know that people that usually do the crime stay close to the investigation.
And
And
ask a lot of questions.
This guy
Yeah.
has been on all kinds of stations. He was on Good Morning America yesterday.
Yeah, they do their rounds. You know what I mean? They do their rounds.
Hey, Nick, listen, I need to stop because it very well could be possible. Okay. Yeah, let's go. I need to stop because now my brain is gone. He left there mad over financial reasons. Now he's got the kids, and now he's the one popping up on Good Morning America and all these channels.
And now he's got the money.
And now he's got the money. He's got the kids. He's got the money. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Let's go.
They know what I do and saying, "Have you heard about this case? This is awful." 3 9mm.
Let me say this. That's just my opinion. Okay. I'm looking at all angles. Am I saying the brother-in-law is guilty? I am not. I am not. I'm saying they need to find out from Joel who told them that the brother-in-law left the house pissed off over financial reasons. And why is the brother-in-law going on all these channels like, this is weird? Okay.
Yeah. We got to think about it, guys. Every situation, we're just having thoughts and our opinions here.
I didn't think the brother-in-law, I did think it was strange that the brother-in-law went on Good Morning America and talking to all these different people and doing shit. And
So early in the case.
Lana said, "I'm going to get with the brother-in-law because there's a lot of things out there that's being misrepresented and he's supposed to come on my channel and make it right." And he never showed. He never showed up. What? And now we're hearing from Surviving the Survivor, Joel's channel, that the brother-in-law was seen leaving the house pissed off over financial reasons.
And it's not unreasonable to think that he may have something to do with it. It's not unreasonable. It's happened many times.
Well, that would be motive.
No, that wouldn't be a motive.
If he left there for financial reasons, all pissed off, and now he's the one with the kids, I'm just saying.
Believe me, they're looking into him. Believe me.
If they're not, they need to be. If they're not, they need to be. They need to get a hold of Joel with Surviving the Survivor, or if somebody knows Joel, tell him to reach out to the police department, because he damn sure said that this guy left pissed off over financial reasons. And now this is a guy going on all these channels. He was on Joel's channel.
Yeah. So early. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So early in the case when maybe you should be listen, so early in the case, maybe you should be keeping your mouth shut. But I'm glad that these people speak out because we're happy about that.
Maybe, just maybe, because Joel's channel was the first one that the brother-in-law was on. Maybe it came from the brother-in-law. Yeah, we had some financial disagreements, so I left there pissed off. I don't know where that conversation came from, but they sure said it happened. That's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, let's play this.
Spent shell casings found inside the family's home. No signs of forced entry, no firearm, though, found at the scene. Spencer was 37 years old, Monique 39. Police believe the window that they were murdered was between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. And they believe that they were murdered on the top floor of their house during that 3-hour period. Jen, if you could know anything about this case, what would you want to know? What are the questions, I guess, burning in your mind? Maybe that's the better way to ask it as a seasoned investigator. What's troubling you?
Well, what's really troubling me is all this video that is in and around this home. Not only both Ring cameras at that home, but cameras that are across the street, also cameras that are at a neighbor. There are so many cameras in this neighborhood. And what's bothering me is I understand how long it takes to review this footage. It's unbelievable, a time pull. I want to know why they haven't asked, say, the FBI for their help, not in anything other than analyzing this evidence. I think this is moving too slow. You have somebody out on the streets that is capable of murdering 2 individuals. Yes, I agree it's targeted. But what happens if somebody starts sniffing around him? Is it possible that he would take them out? So I just think it's really important that they speed up their investigation.
Excellent point, Jen. Yeah, and dovetailing off of your point, Tom, you know, I have many friends in Columbus. I mean, this is rocking the community. It has people on edge asking questions, and I can't imagine how the people on that street may be feeling. What would you say to them and anyone else who feels unsettled this morning that this case hasn't been solved?
Yeah, it is. And you know what, just to back up a little bit, you know, you kind of blame the police department. You know, you have to get out there. I completely understand the integrity of the investigation. I've been there. I've had to hold on to certain circumstances when it comes to a case and releasing it. I get that. But you also have to take into account, like you said, Julie, the safety and the mindset of that neighborhood to put them at ease that it wasn't just a random act of someone knocking on doors and breaking in and murdering people. This had something personal behind it. And that, you know, takes a lot of heat off of the neighborhood and what they're thinking. But like I said, I understand the integrity of it, but you also owe it to the community to have them at ease.
Definitely. So well said, Tom. Jen Coffin, I want to go back to you. You raised an interesting point yesterday. You had us all talk and you were saying how looking at how popular Google searches were for Dr. Tepe might provide some indication. Would you kind of share some more with us about where investigators may go digitally to try to find some good direction to pursue?
Right. No, absolutely. So if you look at Google Trends, it's always very interesting to evaluate when people and places are being Googled in and around a murder. So for instance, really quickly in the Bryan Kohberger, I looked at that 5-week period before there was a suspect name. And you could see Bryan Kohberger's name before anybody knew it being Googled over and over and over again, which I think were done by Bryan Kohberger. In this case, you look at
I will put the comments on the screen because nobody wants to see her ass anyway.
Flat line of this dentist, Dr. Tepe, nothing except for on November 30th. And then you see a huge spike in review of his account. In other words, web searches and so on. You compare that with after his murder, of course, it's going to spike, but a huge spike on this other day. In addition, there was a huge spike on December 5th, huge. In fact, the largest spike for that address, 1411 4th Street there in Columbus. Why? That is the largest spike that has nothing to do with after the murder. So I would be asking myself, who Googled that? Why? I don't know that there was a party there. I've reached out to the brother-in-law. I just don't understand why these huge spikes unless somebody was looking into them at that point.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Boy, you know, and to follow up, a detective, might that be worth Columbus police getting a warrant to get those records from Google and try to find out an IP address where these searches were generated from?
Yeah, Jen brings up a great point. You have to use technology to your advantage today. There's so many avenues that you can use it on a law enforcement level with warrants and just general searches, I think is a great point. And I think that's where this may break because of the digital footprints that everybody has these days. You can't get away from it. And you have to use it to your advantage when it comes to something like this, where you don't have a viable lead going forward. You have to work backwards into their backgrounds, the neighborhood's backgrounds. What other crimes took place in and around that area that might be concerning or linked into this? That one case that they have of someone randomly knocking on a door in the middle of the night. Where's that person? Why wasn't that person a radio car dispatched to see at least who that was in an area knocking on doors. You know, all of this could lead to something. So you have to use technology to your advantage these days.
Yeah, definitely. Great insight from you both. You both have been following this one closely, as have we. We'll see if anything breaks. We hope very soon. Agent Jennifer Coffendaffer, Detective Tom Smith, thank you both kindly. Coming up next here on Opening.
Okay, there was that. I'm going to play a song, and then I'm going to close and reopen. Got some documents on the Kansas Moms case want to go over. Want to talk about the GoFundMe that was raised to get markers put on the highway where they were unalived. Just got some things to go over Kansas Moms, and I don't want these running together. And so I'm going to do that. Let me add. Did you catch that, Journey? Did you catch what I said? You're still there, Journey?
Yeah, still here.
I'll drop the link for you too. This is new information on the Kansas Moms case. I just don't want them running together.
Right.
So,
It's better that way. Separate cases, right?
They're separate cases, and we all came together because of the Kansas Moms case. And
Right.
if for some reason I delete other things, I always want to keep them. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So I want to do it totally separate. So everybody
Okay.
in the chat, love having you. I made a song. It should have everybody's name in it. Listen to the song, and then please go join the other live. We're going to go over that real quick. It shouldn't be but 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most. I hear Rick just got home, so I'll go over the comments. I'll put the comments in the chat, and I'm going to play the song real quick, and then we're going to go live. I'm just going to close this and start another live.
See you guys in the next live.
That's right. That's right. Hold on. That's right. Want to see everybody in it. Okay, here we go.
Y'all come back, you hear? No.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Friday night, screams glow low. Another hard truth we already know. Story's heavy, cuts real deep. But Rock family don't lose sleep. Rockin' journey, front row seats. Digging through the lies, chasing receipts. No speaks up, calm but strong. Dan and Zen say something's wrong. We don't turn away. We don't look the other way. We say their names, we stay. It's Friday crime time. Rock family ride. Truth on the table, nowhere to hide. Rock journey, Noel stand tall. Dan and Zen answer the call. Yeah, it's Friday crime time. Much love. Much love. Broken systems, shattered trust. We tell the story cause someone must. Every victim, every face gets respect in this shared space. Voices different, hearts the same. Not for clicks, not for fame. Just justice whispered, then shouted loud. Rock family never bows. Through the dark, through the fear, we stay right here. Every Friday night, every tear. Yeah, it's Friday crime time. Lock it in. Rock family strong to the bitter end. Rock journey, Noel stay true. Dan and Zen, see it through. Yeah, it's Friday crime time. Much love. Candles lit in the cold blue light. We talk it through till late at night. For the lost, for the unheard, every name remembered. every word. It's Friday crime time, hearts aligned, rock family true, seeking by design, Noel dancing, rock journey too. This family's built on more than views. Yeah, it's Friday crime time. Much love, much love. Same place, same time, no shove. Friday crime time. Rock family. Rock's love.